coach says he's playing the best third base Arkansas has had in a number of years. The head man for the Oklahoma State Cowboys is Gary Ward. This is his 11th year at Stillwater, and he's looking for his 8th straight trip to Omaha, Nebraska, and the College World Series. One of the leaders for the Oklahoma State team, Robin Ventura. The junior from Santa Maria, California, was the 1987 College Baseball Player of the Year. And one of the reasons Oklahoma State is off to its best start ever with a record of 31-1 is the play of junior college transfer Travis Law. His 3-run homer in the top of the 10th against Texas A&M 2 weeks ago helped the Cowboys keep their current win streak alive. Gary Ward has lots of offensive weapons, and they all seem to contribute. Field in Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's where we are tonight as the top-ranked Cowboys of Oklahoma State take on the University of Arkansas, neighboring states, in what is a friendly rivalry. Hello, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Jim Cott, and great to have you along this evening. Robin Ventura of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, last year's College Player of the Year. Some people said he got off to a little bit of a slow start. However, when you look at the last 17 games, he's hit safely in 15 of those. Nothing slow about that, is it, Jim?
Well, last year, after the 58-game hitting streak and hit over 400 all year, scouts and people in general question whether this guy's a complete player. He can play defense. He's an outstanding hitter. He's going to be one of the top draft choices come draft time this summer.
Probably the thing that is most amazing as far as Gary Ward's ball club is concerned, they've won 31, 24 straight now, but yet you look at their lineup, Jim, they've got 3 freshmen that are integral parts playing on a regular basis. Somehow most schools don't have that kind of situation, do they?
Well, I think that's what makes Gary Ward's program even more unique here at Oklahoma State. It's successful every year. But this year, 31-1, he puts 3 freshmen into the lineup. We're going to see 2 of them tonight. Mitch Simons will not be starting, but that's what makes his record even that much more impressive.
For the University of Arkansas, 6 returners as far as that ball club is concerned. Norton Bryant has been to the College World Series 2 of the last 3 years, but they've stumbled just a little bit, not playing as well as they had anticipated that they would. And coming in here to take on a team top-ranked like Oklahoma State, what's the challenge for them tonight?
Kind of reminds me, Ron, of the early days of the Minnesota Twins when we would be struggling and you'd go into Yankee Stadium with Mantle and Maris and Elston Howard and Skowron, and the Yankees had won about 6 in a row. Not a very comforting feeling, but we'll see what Norm DeBrine thinks about it.
I don't think it's any different than facing Oklahoma State over the last 5 years. We've played them home and home on each year, and they're either ranked number 1 in the nation each year, as they are this year. But in this ballpark, being a small ballpark, and the win factor and their offensive stats and the good hitters they have, naturally we hope to have our good pitching going tonight.
Off the top of the telecast, we talked about DeAlexander and the great year that he's had. What about some other key players for the Razorbacks?
Well, a big surprise for Arkansas offensively has been Troy Eklund, hitting .361 in the last 10 games. They have 6 regulars returning from last year. Hitting isn't their problem, though. Pitching is what's given them problems this year.
Norm DeBrine says, my headaches have been in the bullpen. So we're just about set to get this one started. Mike Oquist will be on the hill for the Arkansas Razorbacks this evening, and the starting pitcher for Oklahoma State will be Tom Capuri. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Beef Industry Council and Beef Board. Beef, real food for real people. And by Briggs & Stratton, proud sponsors of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. Top-ranked Oklahoma State against the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's coming up next.
You can hear the understandable pride when modern brewers talk about the time they spend brewing their beers, or the time they spend lagering them, True, this reflects effort and care. But for Budweiser, some things take even more time. Like waiting for a big beechwood tree to grow from a small beechwood tree. For all the years past and the years to come, this is the kind of time and the kind of care that go into your beer. Beechwood aged Budweiser.
The Arkansas Razorbacks out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. Their head coach, Norm DeBryan. He is in his 19th season with the Razorbacks. He's taken his team to the College World Series 2 of the last 3 seasons. Leading off and playing right field will be Scott Pose. He has the most stolen bases on the club, has 29 walks, and is hitting .337. Randy Bob will play first and hit second. He's been fighting a liver infection. He may be the best hitter on this ball club. Right now, his average is at .355. Troy Eklund is the left fielder. He will hit third. The quickest bat on the team, very improved in the outfield. He's hitting .282 and has 8 home runs. Behind the plate and hitting to the cleanup spot is Jim Kramers. Starting to come on very strong now. Very good patience, and he's hitting at .306. The big surprise for the Razorbacks this year, Greg DeAlexander. He plays third base. Presently is leading the Razorbacks in 5 offensive categories. Kelly Zane will hit 6. He plays second base. He's batting .361, has 6 home runs and 10 stolen bases. The designated hitter is Billy Dawson, and he's coming off a very good weekend against Texas Tech. His average right now was at .321. The center fielder is Don Thomas. He'll hit 8. Great athlete, very good outfielder. He had a squeeze to help Arkansas win against Tech on Friday night. He's hitting .317. Rod Stillwell is the shortstop. He'll bat 9th, has a .323 average and 21 RBIs, which is not bad in that number 9 position.
And defensively for the Cowboys in left field, Jeremy Burnitz. Travis Law at center, Benny Castillo over and right. Around the infield, Robin Ventura, the third baseman, Monty Ferris at short, Brad Beanblossom, the second baseman, Manny Cervantes at first. Behind the plate, Rocky Ward, and on the mound, right-hander Tom Kafuri.
There he is, 6'1", 175, a junior out of Atascadero, California. And his numbers this year, he's 7-0 with an ERA of .332. 21 strikeouts and has allowed 16 walks, Jim.
Well, you know, they only have one pitcher on this staff, Ron, that has a loss. That's David Malicki. I think they didn't. They still have his scholarship in place. They didn't take his scholarship away from him, even though they're 31-1. But
field dimensions here at Alley Reynolds Stadium: .325 to left and to right. Left center .380, and to dead center is .395. Right off the top, coaches always do this to you. This is twice this afternoon that Coach Ward has said he wasn't going to make a change, but he did. And all of a sudden, we're going to put behind the plate Adam Smith will replace Rocky Ward. And that is the only change that we have. Cervantes will stay at first base. And when the lineups come up in just a moment, as there you see the umpiring crew for tonight's ball game. Homolka is behind the plate, Taylor and Norman. Taylor is on first base, and the first pitch of the night. Inside for a ball. As far as the batting order is concerned, Adam Smith will be in the same place that Cervantes was. We will talk more about that in just a moment when Oklahoma State comes to the plate. Scott Pose. Strike called. Evens it up at 1-1.
Ron, Tom Kafuri was programmed to be the number 5 starter when the season started here for Oklahoma State. They've had some injuries to their ace, Pat Hope. He's 3-0 on the year. Tim Pugh, 7-0. Mike Gardella, 4-0. And then Kafuri at 7-0.
Breaking ball right there. Low and inside for a ball. Earlier today in visiting with Coach Ward, and also in talking with the pitching coach, he said that the split finger has been something that Kafuri has flirted with, and in fact at times has been good for him, but what he has also been hurt by this year has been the split finger. Swung on, fouled off. That'll even it up at 2-2.
Well, the split finger fastball, unless you have one like a Bruce Sutter or a Mike Scott, if you don't have the consistency with it, if it doesn't have that late sink to it, it's just kind of an ordinary hittable fastball.
Tom Holliday said that he's a very smart pitcher, though, and pretty readily finds the holes, if there are any, that the batters leave for him or what they have there. Swung on, looped into left field. Burnitz is there, and he's got it for the first out. So one down here with the top half of the first inning. That'll bring up Randy Bob, first baseman for the Arkansas Razorbacks. 39 RBIs, hitting at a .355 clip. Norm O'Brien said certainly he's not making excuses because things have not gone well for his ball club early on, but that Bob pitches outside. Bob has been fighting a liver infection, and he said a night ball game like this evening, interestingly enough, he said would be a lot easier on him than if he were having to play in a daytime heat, say 85, 90 degrees right now.
Yeah, I was interested in listening to Norm explain that. Night games were easier for Randy Bob than day games.
Swung on, that evens it up 1-1.
That fastball right there, good fastball by Kifuri, but he's not really known as a power pitcher. You mentioned the split finger fastball, and even though he's good size, 6'1", 175, he's more of a controlled change speeds pitcher. Randy Bob, as we look at Tom Kifuri's motion, good high leg kick over the top. See that stiff front leg? Always very controversial amongst pitching coaches. Some coaches love to have you bend that front leg like the classic motion of Tom Seaver. But a lot of pitchers in the big leagues very effective against the stiff front leg also.
Swung on and fouled on the left side.
Sorry to say about Randy Bob, he broke the Arkansas, or rather the Southwest Conference and the Arkansas hitting streak record last year. Hit in 30 straight games. You know who held it before that? Johnny Ray, former Pirate second baseman, now playing left field for the California Angels.
1-2 as Kifuri works in front and he hits him. So the Razorbacks with their first runner of the night as Bob will head down to first base. You get a pretty good look at it right here.
Could be that was the split finger right there. You see the ball really tailing in to Randy Bob, and if your timing and your release point is not perfect on the split finger, ball flies out of your hand a little bit early, exactly where it ends up, high and inside on a right-hand hitter.
So Bob over to first base, and this brings up Troy Eklund, the left fielder. Sure to work from the stretch for the first time tonight. It's Cervantes holding him on. Breaking ball. Strike ball. Eklund under 300, but yet 38 RBIs. Obviously has hit in the clutch very well this year. 8 home runs, and as Norm O'Brien describes him as the quickest bat in the lineup. Swung on and fouled back. One thing Kifuri is doing, and it goes along with what Tom Holliday said earlier today, he's a very smart pitcher, and he does not like, in fact, does as good a job of working in front of the hitters as anybody on their staff.
Yeah, he's a challenging pitcher. I like to see that. A lot of the Oklahoma State teammates were saying even though he'll give up some runs early, he comes right back after you. You can't scare him out of the strike zone, a quality you like to see in a young pitcher.
Well, he wanted that one, strike 3 called. Eklund started to swing, and he held up on it.
Really not a pitcher's pitch right here. Most of the time on the breaking ball. Well, as a matter of fact, it did dip back that way. At first, it appeared that the ball had broken on the inside corner like a slider, but that was a good example of the effective split finger fastball.
Kramers, the catcher, steps in. He's hitting in the cleanup spot. 306 on the year. Senior out of North Little Rock, Arkansas. You know, and the replay always shows it. But I thought he had held up right there. I said he wanted the pitch, and he held up, but called third strike.
Most of the time they go around.
Toss back over to first, not in time. Randy Bob back. Closer to his Class A move right there. Cool night here in Stillwater. We talked about that off the top of the telecast tonight. 55 degrees, not real bad as the sun goes down, but the wind is gusting 12 to 25 miles an hour. And they're saying the temperature will drop into the 40s tonight and will stay northerly at about 15 miles an hour. And it is blowing in toward first base. Left-hander waits. It's going to be low. Ball 1.
That strikeout of Eklund off the split-finger fastball, one of the things that makes that pitch so effective, even pitchers will tell you they don't know which way it's going to break. Sometime it will break down and away from the right-hand hitter, sometime down and in, as that one did.
High ball 2. So for the first time this evening, Kafiri working behind this Arkansas hitter. Well, you talk about having to pitch out of the stretch, too.
Talk about a versatile player. Jim Kramer's in the batter's box right now. Played a little first base and outfield for him last year, catching this year, and we could even see him on the mound before the night's over.
I was surprised when Norton O'Brien said that, but what did he say? They had clocked his fastball in the vicinity of 90 miles an hour or over.
In the upper 80s, he's got a strong arm. He's one their best offensive player, set a school record for doubles last year with 28.
2-0 pitch on the way. Line drive, base hit to the right side. Castillo up with the ball quickly, drops it momentarily. But Randy Bob had stopped at second base, and Kramer's with a clean single to the right side.
Well, they could not have a better situation, the Razorbacks, to start off the first inning here at Stillwater with their leading home run hitter at the plate in the first inning. One thing you want to keep from doing coming in here against Oklahoma State is keep from falling behind early in the ball game, and here they got a shot at taking the lead.
So the Razorbacks with a runner in scoring position. That's Randy Bob out at second base. He got on after being hit by a pitch. And then Kramer's with that screaming single to the right side as the curveball misses. 1-0. The Alexander can't really say enough. We talked a lot off the top of the show about the kind of year he's having. Only .231 last year, and this year did not hit a home run in '87. Off the fist, that's going to be a tough play. Coming in a hurry, Ferris has it, makes the play to first, and he gets him by one step. Nice play by Ferris, and Oklahoma State is out of the inning. So for the Arkansas Razorbacks in the top half of the first inning, no runs as they come up with one hit. There were no errors, and 2 base runners are left. So we head to the bottom half of the first. No score. The Oklahoma State Cowboys rank #1 in the nation, and they're led by, of course, Gary Ward in his 11th year here at Stillwater, looking for his 8th straight trip to the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. Leading off and playing center field tonight will be Travis Law, a junior college transfer, hitting .381, has 22 stolen bases. At second base in that #2 position will be Brad Beanblossom, hitting .397, has 22 stolen bases on the year. Robin Ventura will play third. Last year's College Baseball Player of the Year, slow start, but right now he's back in the groove. Monty Ferris has been the man with the hot hand. He'll hit fourth and play shortstop. And in the offensive categories, he leads the team at .434, 16 home runs and 49 hits. The designated hitter tonight will be Ray Ortiz. Last couple of weeks, he's really been on a tear. His batting average now up to .414. Benny Castillo will bat 6th and play right field. The senior for New York City, great season last year as a junior college transfer. He's hitting .303. At first base tonight, in the #7 position, Manny Cervantes. Only a freshman, very mature. He is hitting .352. Jeremy Burnett, the left fielder tonight, will hit in the #8 spot. Another freshman in the lineup for Gary Ward. He's hitting .353, and in fact, Ward says he could be the next great one for the Cowboys. And Rocky Ward will catch tonight. He'll be in the #9 spot. Son of the head coach, Gary Ward, and he has allowed Adam Smith to get some valuable rest behind the plate this year.
And for the Arkansas Razorbacks, right field Scott Pose, over in center field Don Thomas. Troy Eklund is the left fielder. Around the infield at third base, Greg D. Alexander. The shortstop is Rod Stillwell, a familiar name. We'll develop that as we go along tonight. Kelly Zane at second. Randy Bob, the first baseman. Behind the plate, Jim Kramers. And on the mound, Mike Oquist.
6'2", 175. And La Junta, Colorado is where he's from. And the numbers on him, he's worked 30 2/3 innings this year. 18 walks, 36 strikeouts, and the ERA, possibly a little bit deceiving, 5.28. What's he throw, Jimmy?
Well, he's a hard thrower. Good fastball up in the upper 80s, and a slider and a changeup. We mentioned that Arkansas's pitching staff has been a disappointment to Coach Norm DeBryan. And Oquist has not really been counted on to be one of their main starters. John Sebahar is their ace.
Here's that play to end the inning. I talked about the fine move by Ferris.
Well, you know, I talked to Monty before the game. I said, because of your height, a lot of people want to right away say you can't play shortstop. He said, hey, I haven't had any problems at all. I'll say you haven't. All the games I've seen you play, you've made them all. Now, there's no more difficult play for a 6'5" shortstop to make right there, throwing on the run. Good body balance. Hey, if he can make that play at 6'5", I don't care if he's 7 feet or 5'10". He can play shortstop.
Carrasquel was pretty good size, wasn't he?
Well, I think the best example over a period of time was Marty Marion, and current example would be Cal Ripken.
Travis Law steps in. Lead it off for the Cowboys. Fastball outside.
So often, Ron, scouts and those of us that follow the game are quick to make judgments about people. I remember Greg Nettles making a couple errors in a spring training game, and before long, the Twins organization said he couldn't play third base. You know what he turned out to be.
Ball high. Good look at Mike Oquist.
Mentioned Oquist was not counted on to be one of the main starters, but a good young pitching prospect. Good live arm, good mechanics, as you see in that ISO right there.
It's down low, and he is falling behind. 3-0 to the leadoff batter, Travis Law.
What's really hurt Arkansas is Ray Harris. A left-hander's had some elbow problems, and he's pitched a couple of complete games for them. Got a record of 4-2 this year, but he's not available tonight.
3-0 delivery. Strike call. Yeah, Law's not the guy that you want to get on base, obviously, in the leadoff position. Old center fielder, 22 stolen bases. In fact, when you look at Oklahoma State, both he and Bean Blossom, the 1-2 hitters, both with 22 thefts on the year. Strike called. Nice pitch at the outside corner. Partisans didn't like it, but that's a great location. Loses him, and the first base runner of the night for Oklahoma State is Law. Trots down to first base. That'll bring up Brad Bean Blossom.
Mentioned at the top of the inning how the Razorbacks had a chance to score right there with their #1 home run hitter at the plate. The reason that is so important, when your pitching staff is struggling and you come into a ballpark like this, it would really be nice to carry a 2 or 3 run lead out there. And the reverse of that is walk the leadoff hitter here and give Oklahoma State a few runs early. You're in deeper trouble.
Strike call right down the middle of the fastball. Bean Blossom, what a valuable player he has been to Gary Ward and his ball club. And of course, with Simon coming on this year, one of those 3 freshmen we talked about off the top of the telecast, he affords Gary Ward the opportunity of putting Bean Blossom back in right field, or any of the outfield spots for that matter. But as Ward quickly identified, as you see strike 2, so he gets in front of Bean Blossom. 22 out of 27 for Travis Law in the theft department. I asked him where Bean Blossom would rather play, and he said in the infield, not the outfield spot, although he does a very good job. 0-2. Got a pitch to waste here. Off-speed pitch outside.
Good block by Kramers. I'm just early in the game, I'm really impressed with the motion of young Mike Oquist. He's got what I'm sure the scouts in the stands tonight, and there are a few here, would say a nice loose arm. Had a chance to see Mel Stottlemyre's son Todd make his debut yesterday against the Minnesota Twins, and he had great mechanics, nice loose arm action, the kind of young pitcher you say should have very few arm problems. Oquist looks the same way.
Still 1-2. Law with a pretty good lead that time. He had stretched it out there. Base coaches for Oklahoma State. Whistler down there at first base, and of course, gentleman on the left, Gary Ward in his 11th year at Oklahoma State. They're trying to collect their 8th straight Big 8 title, and of course, 8 straight trips to the College World Series. Law inching off just a little bit more over there at first base. Oquist with a good look, and Law was running as Oklahoma State had the hit and run on.
Bean Blossom is an ideal #2 hitter for that purpose. Small strike zone gives the pitcher a little smaller target to shoot at, plus he's got good bat control.
This year, as far as the extra base hits, he's beat them up considerably. 6 ahead of this time last year. Oquist with a very long look in, glancing back over at first base. Well, not quite as big a lead this time. Ball is high. That'll leave him at 2-2. Oquist keeps checking him out, but has not wasted a lot of pitches over there. He went full on the opening batter Law. Now 2-2 on Bean Blossom. And, of course, Ventura's on deck. On his way again, popped up to the right side. Randy Bob will make the play for the first out of the inning. Salah back at first base as Oklahoma State trying to hit and run again. And the large ovation going up for the number 3 hitter, Robin Ventura. Has hit safely in 15 of his last 17 ball games. Santa Maria, California. They talk about a slow start that he got off to this year, Jim, but one thing you have to consider after the season he had last year, a lot of people pitched around him.
Yeah, a slow start for him is somewhere in the low 3s, 310, 315.
Well, then also they found out that Mr. Ferris was creating so much havoc that kind of hard to pitch around this guy here. You start getting in the middle of the order, it gets tougher anyway. One man down, 0-1 the count on Ventura. Law, the runner at first base, and he has reduced that lead again this time. Oquist comes to the plate, line drive. It's going to be fouled on the left side.
So you look at Robin Ventura's numbers the last couple of years, Ron. 469 in 1986 as a freshman, and then backed it up with a 428 last year. Career-wise, that adds up to 447. That's pretty hard to duplicate, and he understands that himself. Good level-headed young man, and he could swing the bat just as well this year, and the average end up at about 380 or 390, and people will say, well, he didn't have quite as good a year. Not true.
Thomas pulled around just to the right, just a little bit on Ventura. Swung on, and he fouls it back.
But the point you made about the not getting pitches to hit, that is what has enabled Monty Ferris to have the big year that he's had. And now that opposing teams realize that Ferris is also hitting, Ventura is beginning to get some more hittable pitches. That's why the 3, 4, 5 spot is so important to have all of those guys on track. Good ball clubs. You cannot pitch around one to get to the other. Sooner or later, you'll pay the price.
Ventura said he got a little frustrated with trying to pitch him outside. There's the throw to first base. Law is back. Law keeps pitching off, that he came back and he got a couple of stares, but they've not worked on him just a whole bunch over there. Ventura said that he was swinging at pitches that he normally would not, though, and it got him in trouble. And, of course, on deck, some have been talking about Monty Ferris. Mike Oquist with a one-out situation. 0-2, pitching in front of Ventura, but doesn't want to make the mistake, obviously, with the runner at first. That'll be high. 1-2. All he wants right now is just a ground ball in the infield, Jim Cox. Travis Law opened up the inning with a walk, and Bean Blossom popped out to the first baseman. I think we saw his Class A move in, Jim.
Get a look around at how they play Robin Ventura in the outfield. Now, Oquist's got a live fastball, but you can tell how they respect his power. Thomas is way around in right center field and Poe's very deep in right field.
Poe's has got a tough situation out there as his son has not yet died, and another throw back to first base. It's just about leveling out in his eyes right now. No score. Stillwater, Oklahoma. Very cool what is a pleasant evening right now, but everybody brought their jackets, and you can be assured that they're already in use. Supposed to go into the 40s this evening. In fact, Fayetteville yesterday morning, if you can believe it, had snow showers. Swung on, line drive right up the middle. Law rounding second, and he's going to come to third. We'll have a play. Not in time, and Law into third base. Ventura with the single right up the middle. And Oklahoma State with runners at the corners here in the bottom half of the first inning with only one down.
Ventura will begin to build up a reputation like Wade Boggs keeps hitting like this, Ron. See that pitch right there? Not really a bad pitch from Oquist's viewpoint. Down and away, but he's a good two-strike hitter now. You see Travis Law, aggressive base running right here. Ball goes through. When he gets to second base, takes a quick look out at Thomas.
Watch what happens here, Jimmy. I thought this might get him when he took that hesitation.
Gives him a little change of pace right there, a little Gale Sayers move. And kicked it into gear and got into third. He's got some speed.
Runners at the corners with one man down. Ferris at the plate. Ball high. Kramer's hesitated for just a second as if to say, looked pretty appetizing to me. It counted 1-1. So Oquist had himself in a situation a moment ago with one man down. Law at first was ahead on the count 0-2 to Robin Ventura. But he couldn't keep him off base with the line drive up the middle. Had a chance to get out of the inning. Swung on, popped up down the right side. Giving chase is Bob, but the second baseman comes over. Zane makes the catch. Law tags up, and he's going to come home to score.
Well, once again, Travis Law, you knew that Kelly Zane was in the most difficult position to catch the ball and wheel and throw. Now, for a moment, it appeared they might call this no catch, but let's get a look. The ball's in the glove. He's got control of it. Now he's going to reach in to make the throw, and that's where he bobbles it. First base umpire very alertly called it a putout, and Law had tagged up and came home.
So 1-0. Oklahoma State goes on top.
When you're trying to make another play, Ron, after you have caught the ball, that's where the umpire will say, no, he didn't drop the ball. He bobbled it in the effort to make the second part of the play, the throw. Happens a lot around second base on double plays.
Ray Ortiz at the plate, outside and high with a pitch. Jim, that's a tough situation. You get that long foul ball like that, and you know with a guy like Law at third base, he's going to take advantage of every situation. That's a tough area to try to make a throw and a put out down there. Ortiz swung on left side, and it's going to be foul.
It would be expecting too much of any player to think that quickly, but I have seen it happen on occasion. In fact, the other day in Metropolitan Stadium, where Lloyd Mosby very alertly flipped the ball to Jesse Barfield because his back was to the infield. Kelly Zane could have quickly flipped the ball to Randy Bob over at first base, who would have been in position to throw. Or in spring training, teams will work on setting a cutoff man. Oftentimes the pitcher will come over there and be the cutoff man, but that's stretching it a little bit. That would be a very difficult play for an infielder to make.
Gary Ward, that familiar hands in back pockets posture. His ball club has jumped on top, 1-0. They have 2 out. Swung on, fouled on the right side. So Oquist in front with a 1-2 count. Ventura continues to occupy first base. He had a line drive single right up the middle to keep this drive alive for the Cowboys in the first inning. Here's a good look at Robin. And now Mr. Oquist. Curveball. down in the dirt, and again, a nice job by Kramers to dig it out.
Well, last year they had an All-American catcher, Andy Skeels. He's in the Padres organization. And now Kramers has taken over behind there. And once again, we talk about, and we've talked about it before on our telecast, catchers don't try to catch that ball. They just try to block it. Keep it in front of you and keep the runner from advancing. Good job right there by Kramers.
2-2 the count with 2 out. Here, bottom half of the first inning in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Well, with the 24-man roster these days in the big league level, Ron, Jim Kramers should have a future. He played 4 positions last year. He can play first, the outfield, catch, and as we mentioned, might even see him on the mound.
Checks Ventura at first, swung on and a high fastball, and he gets him. So the Arkansas Razorbacks are out of the first inning. But not before the Cowboys of Oklahoma State pick up 1 run on 1 hit. And after 1, it is Oklahoma State 1-0.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane. Operator, or could you help me place this call? 1, 2, 3,
The music is on Magic. Magic 99. Just set your dial to 99.5.
Stop, children, what's that sound?
Magic 99. The best variety from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Now, if you're in the dark, how lights turn on, little Louie's gonna tell you in this little old song. First we go dig deep for coal, or way up here where the waters flow. We make the water churn or the coal to burn. Either way, it's gonna make the generator turn, and that's called electricity. Now we have the power moving down the line, gonna make it to your house right on time. You turn on the light, flick on the switch, pull out the knob and tune in the hit. Yeah, that's called electricity.
Soccer teams from around the world invade Dallas for America's most prestigious international youth soccer tournament. I'm Chris Fowler. It's the Dallas Cup on this week's Scholastic Sports America, Wednesday on ESPN.
Here you see the score, 1-0. The top-ranked Cowboys jumped on front in the bottom half of the first inning. Arkansas had a threat going as they finished the inning with a couple of men on. We're getting twilight here at Oklahoma State, and speaking of twilight, here's the twilight zone, comparing 87 and 88. Jim, this is incredible. It's really, almost spooky.
It really is. And I think the Oklahoma State people have tried to play it down, but that is amazing, that stat that you looked at. 24 straight, and the last time they had their streak broken, yeah, it's a little cold, see them bundled up there, was on this same date last year. They got beat by North Texas State 5-4.
Kelly Zane steps in to open up the second inning. Swung on and missed with a strike. So the Cowboys won 7, lost the 8th, won 24 straight, and then lost. And the fact that it's on the identical date. We didn't tell Norm that today, but strike called. Nice looking curveball. And again, Kafuri working in front of the Arkansas hitters.
You see that little bit of a smirk or a smile on his face, and he's a little bit of a character. Should have been a left-hander. Does impersonations. We could have had him do the starting lineup tonight.
Just misses on the outside corner.
He made a guest appearance on a local station the other day doing his Marv Albert imitation. Yeah, imitation. And they say he also does a tremendous Dick Vitale.
Outside for ball 2.
He also does a pretty good job of pitching. As we mentioned, 7-0. No swing, says the first base umpire. Let's get a look at it. Like you said, Ron, most of the time when you see it over again, but no, he did hold up. Zane held up.
Well, he's trying to protect the plate there. Things are evened up at 2-2. Kelly Zane. Dawson is next. Swung on. I'm not so sure. And in fact, if we can look at it again, I'm not so sure that he didn't hit that ball on the short hop. Almost like a half volley in tennis.
Sand wedge. You see how the Cowboy pitching has improved. They've always had great offense here, but The one thing they're proud of this year is their pitching staff.
Swung on, or rather high and away. So all of a sudden, DeFury in danger of losing him after going in front. 0-2 on the leadoff batter, Kelly Zane, here in the second inning. Swung on, high, pop foul, or pop fly, rather, to center field. Travis Law back all the way to the warning track. Jim, that ball was pretty doggone well hit, but you know, there's a lot more carry with that crosswind than I thought, because that ball kept bending.
The wind here is blowing from the left field corner to the right field corner, as you said, a crosswind, and any ball that is hit to the right field side of second base will benefit from that wind. And there's an example right there. That was a very soft fly ball, short fly ball, and end up at the warning track.
Bill Dawson, 321. The designated hitter for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Out of Bentonville, Arkansas. Evens it counted 1-1. Arkansas with a couple of base runners in that first inning. Bob was hit by a pitch, and then Kramer's screened a base hit to the right side, but they could not get him across. Bouncer to the right side. It's Bean Blossom. Tossed over to first base, and 2 down here in the second.
Well, you mentioned, Ron, that Brad Bean Blossom loves to play the infield more so than the outfield. We talked about Monty Ferris being a tall shortstop. Doesn't mean you couldn't be short like Bean Blossom, 5'10", 165, and play the outfield. But he's got quick feet, quick actions for an infielder. And that's the position he likes best, and he probably plays best.
Pitch high. Don Thomas, center fielder out of Pine Bluff. Only a junior for Norm DeBrine's ball club. Good-looking curveball right there to even things up at 1-1.
We mentioned pitching has been their problem. The offense has come on. Thomas is an example. He's 10 for 24 in the last 7 games. He's picked his average up a little bit.
Down in the dirt. You know, last Friday night, as Arkansas won 2 out of 3 over Texas Tech this past weekend up in Fayetteville, he had a squeeze to win that ball game for the Razorbacks on Friday evening. Norm says that he is one that he would trust under those circumstances. As the ball has popped up, but Smith back behind the plate, going to make the catch, and for Arkansas, they are out of the inning. 1, 2, 3. So as we head to the bottom half of the second inning, it is the Oklahoma State Cowboys 1 and the Arkansas Razorbacks 0. Take a break. Castillo, Smith, and Burnett's coming up next.
You know, I'm not easily annoyed, but I never liked the way the vegetables always fell off between the sirloin on my beef kebabs. I fixed that. I don't put vegetables on my beef kebabs. In fact, I believe that's why someone invented salad.
Beef, real food for real people.
Honey, game's gonna start soon.
I think I'll give the lawn a quick cut.
Good luck.
When you're long on grass and short on time, you need a mower with a Briggs & Stratton engine.
Dad, the pregame show's on!
It'll start quickly and work hard till the job's done.
Sure hope he makes it.
Yes, there he is.
Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
Pete Incavilla of Oklahoma State University in the College World Series, 1985. In fact, this was the year that Incavilla was named the College Baseball Player of the Year. And this is a pretty good reason why. Pete, of course, went on after an illustrious career at Stillwater to move on to the Texas Rangers. And look at the orange T-shirt that he's wearing. That's an OSU T-shirt, and he says, yes, that is still very important to him.
Well, I wear it all the time. It's just a reminder to me that remember where I came from, that this game was meant to be fun, and you go out and have fun, and that's something that I did when I was in school because there's a lot, maybe a little bit more camaraderie when you're playing in college than there is in a professional because it becomes a business. So I just want to remember where I come from and remember why I want to play the game.
That's a good point right there, Ron. And there you see some of the players that have come out of this program here and made it to the big leagues. I'm going to get a look at John Farrell tomorrow night. He'll be pitching against the Minnesota Twins in Cleveland. And they had a tremendous pitching staff here in '84. Can Wisher, Livingston, Mike Henneman, who's in the big leagues now, of course. And now John Farrell has begun to come on with the Cleveland Indians. 5-1 the end of last year.
Benny Castillo leading it off here in the bottom half of the second inning for Oklahoma State. Be followed by Adam Smith and Jeremy Burnitz.
I love this guy's eyes. Love to watch his eyes when he hits.
Oakhurst. That's a live fastball. I see exactly what you mean.
He's got a little bit of Tony Pena in his eyes. And Gary Ward mentioned the fact that his approach to hitting reminds him a little bit of Orlando Cepeda. Of course, Benny was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and tremendous number of ball players that country has produced.
Oakhurst teases him with a breaking pitch.
No swing once again. In fact, mentioning the Dominican Republic, Benny would like to pass good wishes on. They're watching down there. His parents are watching. Down in Santo Domingo, he will not be home to visit them until Christmas, but he appreciates the fact that occasionally they get to play on ESPN. His parents get to see him.
See on the graphic there, he's had base hits in 5 of his last 6 outings. Oakhurst got that thing just above the wrist, didn't he?
Thank goodness for the metal bat. That's a wood bat. It's busted, but it did for a minute. It looked like it might have hit him on the hand.
It was very close, but he didn't flinch. 1-2 the count. Benny Castillo, the right fielder for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. New survey out today. We'll show you a little bit later on. They're #1 again. Evens it up at 2-2. Travis Law scored that first run of the evening as he had walked. He moved around on Ventura's base hit, and then in the foul ball, and he went around on that. Dropped for a moment. Trainers will throw it to first, and Castillo is out. Here's that survey I was just talking about. First 5 this week. Oklahoma State up on top. Fresno State. Boy, they had some kind of streak going of late, Jim. Fresno State has won 20 games in a row. Then Arizona State, Texas 4, Texas A&M #5. Show you the rest of that a little bit later on.
Well, one of the top pitchers in college baseball, played on the Olympic team in 1984, John Hoover out of Fresno State. They have another good one this year, John Sayles. Of course, Hoover has yet to surface on the big league level. Coming on a little slow.
Adam Smith swung on, drive, right center field, and Don Thomas is under it to make the hit. I tell you what, the ball is tough to see from here, and I hope it's not as tough out there on the outfielders, but we are truly at dusk right now. The sun has gone almost down. Lights have been on for a time, but it's a little bit tough to pick up.
When we're into the daylight saving time here in the last week, and anytime you start games at 7 o'clock, as we did tonight, outfielders and infielders as well always have a little problem picking up the ball early in the ball game. Need to help one another out.
Here is a very talented freshman out of Conroe, Texas, Jeremy Burnitz. Visited with him just a while before the ball game started tonight. You know, Gary Ward is not one to put a lot of pressure on his young players, although he believes in playing freshmen. But he made the statement. He thinks that this kid could be the next really great one for Oklahoma State. In fact, he says he thinks he has a better stroke than Ventura did when he was a freshman. That's saying it a lot.
That's a pretty strong statement.
So 2 men down. Bottom of the second inning. Oklahoma State leading this one 1-0. Was working on Jeremy Burnitz. pops it up, and he way in front of him now at 1-2.
Ron, Gary Ward has a hitting tape out. Of course, he's known around college baseball as an outstanding hitting coach. His idea, everybody has different ideas on hitting, but he's a big believer in using the lower body. Now watch the back knee of Jeremy Burnitz. See the way he kind of kicks that back leg into the swing? That's one of the things that Gary Ward really stresses here at Oklahoma State. And you'll see most of his hitters take that approach.
High fastball, and I do mean fast. I'd love to know what the gun got him with on that. Kind of got away from him. Castillo struck out. Smith flied out to center field to Thomas, and ground ball to the right side. Bob has it just foul.
You made an interesting statement there where you said I'd like to see what the gun got him on that one, and from a pitcher's standpoint, I kind of wish he'd never even see the gun, because you know, so much stress, so much importance put on the radar gun, especially at the college level and with scouts, that you get a youngster like Mike Oquist and you get him too conscious of miles per hour and not conscious of getting hitters out. You see, he knows he's got a good live fastball, and if he can learn to change speeds, move the ball around, he won't really have to be concerned whether it's 88 or 84. Just get the hitters out.
Change up, and again it's fouled just outside of first.
Pitcher on the big league level that's making a nice comeback has fit into the Toronto Blue Jay rotation, Mike Flanagan, former Cy Young Award winner. He said one of the reasons he's throwing well and back in the rotation again is in Baltimore, they put a lot of emphasis on the radar gun. He said in Toronto, all they do is look and see whether I got the hitters out. And I really wish that the scouts and the college pitchers would take that approach.
I guess it's kind of like being proud of 300-pound linemen in football.
Yeah.
Swung out and missed, and he got him in a very good inning for Mike Oquist as he sends the Oklahoma State Cowboys down in order. So as we head to the top half of the third inning, it is Arkansas trailing Oklahoma State 1-0. We'll be right back.
Now there's a baseball game with all the sounds, all the action, and the challenge of the real game. Introducing play-by-play talking baseball. The best game next to the real game.
And in the goal for the United States, Bud Light's own Spuds McKenzie.
His name is Spuds McKenzie. Singing goal for the USA. Stopping pucks both left and right. You know the dude can flat out play. When the pucks stop flying, there's no denying Spud celebrates with Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
This Bud Light is out of sight, my little Spudsky.
The hottest rivalry in tennis. Steffi Graf and Gabriela Sabatini fire it up again at the Bausch & Lomb Championships. See early round coverage Thursday and Friday afternoon on ESPN.
Now there's a baseball game with all the sounds, all the action, and the challenge of the real game. Introducing play-by-play talking baseball. The best game next to the real game.
All right, here we go. This is the first quiz of the night, the Jim Cott quiz, and he has a special gift for you. Who is this player for the Arkansas Razorbacks?
Check that moss. I hope he's watching tonight. I don't know if the Angels are playing or not. Johnny Ray.
And I have to tell you what we did to the young fellas who were in the booth here with us. They were saying that he is from Shoto, Oklahoma. And of course, this Johnny Ray is, and we also got off on
the singer
of our era. Yeah, Johnny Ray the singer. Some of the faithful on hand here tonight at Stillwater. We said, not real bad when you came into the stadium, 55 degrees, supposed to go into the 40s tonight, but the wind is what has made it uncomfortable, so folks have come bundled up tonight. Stillwell leads it off in the top half of the third inning for the Razorbacks, trailing 1-0. Takes the ball outside.
Well, I don't. If the Royals are not in action tonight, Ron, I'm sure there will be one very interested viewer. There will be a couple of them. First of all, brother Kurt, who's playing shortstop for the Kansas City Royals. And secondly, Father Ron out in Thousand Oaks, California. Ron was with the Washington Senators in the early 60s, came up to the big leagues, had a collision with a left fielder, impaired his vision for a while, kind of cut short his career, but his sons are both doing well.
strike called in the inside corner.
They're both switch hitters. They both play shortstop. I said, how did that come about? He said, well, my family owns the batting cages back there in Thousand Oaks, California. Andy Skeels, the former Arkansas catcher, also from back there, so they got a chance to do a lot of hitting.
Down low.
Somewhat like his brother in that he's a good glove man, not a lot of power. Of his 31 hits this year, he's got 28 singles.
I asked Norm this afternoon with still having as many walks as he does, if he was pretty patient. He said he's getting more so. Well, he thought he had one right there. Nice pitch by Tom Kafuri. So we go full, 3-2. One hit apiece. One for Arkansas, one for Oklahoma State. Everybody came in here looking for an offensive display. So far, it has been anything but that. Just as I said, line drive, base hit right up the middle. Stillwell waited on the pitch that he wanted, and he got it. So the Razorbacks, for the first time tonight, with the lead-off batter on.
Well, all the work in the batting cages back there in Thousand Oaks pays off. You see that pitch out in the strike zone, out away from him. And the mistake that hitters often make with that pitch is try to pull it. Ends up being a ground ball to second base. But Stillwell, very wisely, took the pitch the other way, got himself a nice single.
Back to the top of the order, Scott Pose. He flied out to left his first time up. Squares around the bunt. Pitches outside. Pose with a long glance down to first base. Checking out Doug Clark down there. Stillwell with a pretty good lead off first base. Fury comes home. Nice pitch inside.
He's perfect on the year also. Stillwell, 7 stolen bases, has yet to be thrown out.
Now a little bit of a chess game going on here. Arkansas had 2 base runners out of the first inning. Then they went down in order in the second. Hit the leadoff man on here in the third. Boy, seeing that toss back over to first base, not to bring up something that you could talk for hours about, but boy, the balk rule has got them talking in their sleeps in the majors, doesn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, I hope they don't call many tonight. I'm getting tired of calling. You know, David Letterman, I think they're doing it for David Letterman. They asked him last year in jest, what would you like to see in baseball? You know what he said? I'd like to see him call more balks. The rules committee must have listened to him.
1-1 the count to Scott Pose. Swung on, looped in, just over the outstretched hands of Bean Blossom. And for the Razorbacks, they had runners at first and second. So Pose with his first base hit of the night.
That wasn't hit with a lot of authority. Good pitch on the part of Kafuri. Split finger fastball down below the strike zone. And Pose just got the end of the bat on it. And all of a sudden the Razorbacks have a threat. Norm DeBrine has to like this. First and second. Nobody out in the heart of his batting order coming up. Bob, Eklund, and Kramers.
Randy Bob steps in. Shortened up on the bat there for just a moment. That brings up the question as he looks down to third base to get his sign. You go with the percentages here. How do you play it when you're on the road, Jim?
Well, if you listen to, it's early in the ball game. Plus, if you listen to Norm DeBrine, he said Randy Bob is not a good bunter. Now, the reverse of that would be Oklahoma State with Bean Blossom up there, the number 2 hitter, and a couple men on. You would say he's bunting. But first of all, Randy Bob is their leading RBI man, 39 RBIs. Not a good bunter. I'd be very surprised to see him try to attempt a sacrifice right here.
Kafuri looks in. Infield is in for Oklahoma State. Cowboys leading 1-0, and it's swung out and missed by Bob. 2-1. Center fielder Travis Law just a little bit around to right. At the infield, the runner at first and second. Drawn in with nobody out here. Top half of the third inning. Squares around, lays down a bunt to the left side. Fury throws to first. Nice job by Randy Bob.
First time for everything. Get a look at it right here. Randy Bob, not known as a good bunter in an obvious bunting situation, and he really does a good job right there. Norm DeBryan said he was not a very accomplished bunter, but mechanically, that was good actions right there, and he laid down a good bunt.
Had him square around in the first pitch, then he laid off for the next couple. He took a 2-1 pitch, laid down the bunt, and runners at second and third with only one out here in the third for the Razorbacks. Arkansas journeyed over here today because of a busy weekend. They came over by bus, and that trip, I guess, is about 3 hours or just over. Came at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Pitch is outside. And now Kafuri working behind. He's looking at a 2-0 situation here on Eklund. Razorbacks on second and on third. Right down the middle with a fastball, 2-1. Eklund, who struck out his first time up. In fact, Kafuri pitched him very well. Didn't even throw anything out of the strike zone his first trip up. Checks the runners. He went around on that and leaving it up at 2-2.
Well, Junior Tom Kafuri's got a good idea about pitching, the way he keeps the ball down and away. And you'll see the results right there. You see ball breaking down and away from Eklund. Commits himself, tries to hold up, can't do it.
Here you see a lot of concentration off Tom Kafuri, and he's got two. Razorbacks threatening. Oklahoma State leading 1-0. Swung on, held on to. Nice job by Adam Smith. And it's a strikeout swinging. Well, put an asterisk by that, where that could be very large in this ball game as it brings up 2 outs.
That's the split finger fastball. You'll see it once again break down. Earlier in the ball game, we saw the ball break down and in on Eklund. That one broke down and away. Get ahead of the hitter and make him chase the pitches out of the strike zone. Sounds simple for pitchers, difficult to do.
Jimmy Kramer's base hit his first time up today. Takes a strike in the inside corner. And I'll tell you, if he lives up to what his coach told us earlier this afternoon, then Arkansas is going to enjoy the consequences, because his coach said he is really beginning to come on. Good patience. Swung on, off the handle to the left side, and Ventura's got it for the 3rd out. So I'm not sure that, in fact, I am sure that's not what Kramers was looking for, but a good pitch on the part of Kafuri, and he dodges a bullet. For Arkansas, hit in the inning, 2 men left on, 1-0. Oklahoma State remains on top.
I can't wait to get my Tribune. It's a fresh point of view. It's everything that's told, so where to go and what to do. The trip puts things in focus. It's my time to get away. It's everything I want to know before the end of the day. I can read what I want to anywhere that I choose. So bring me the Tulsa Tribune. It's my kind of news.
East Tulsa Dodge is making it easy for you to bring home the gold. Save up to $2,400 when you combine discount package savings with cash back on selected Dodges in stock. Save big on cars, $1,305 on Daytona. Save on trucks, $1,650 on full-size Ram pickups, $2,400 on Ram Chargers. Save on imports, $1,350 on Ram 50, $955 on Colt DL. Bring home the gold at Tulsa's driving force. East Tulsa Dodge, 46th and Memorial.
Don't forget, tomorrow, Stanley Cup playoffs continue. Philadelphia at Washington, 7:30 Eastern Time, live right here on ESPN. Okay, let's take a look right there.
A new cowboy. I tell you, Gary Ward, he'll recruit from all over.
Looks like
brings him in here young.
Ron Franklin along with Jim Cott. Good to have you along as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Stillwater, Oklahoma tonight. Pretty good crowd on hand, particularly considering the weather. In case you joined us late, but we mentioned the fact that the Razorbacks bust over here for the ball game today, and I'm sure that they were disbelieving after seeing 85 degrees in Fayetteville on Friday. Was it, Bill? 85 degrees, and yesterday morning there were snow showers in the Fayetteville, Arkansas area. Mike Oquist, who sent the Cowboys down in order 1-2-3 in the second after giving up a run in the first, will face Manny Cervantes to open up the third, and then back to the top of the order, Travis Law and Brad Beanblossom. Cervantes, another one of the freshmen that we talked about off the top of the telecast tonight. One of three who have contributed greatly and been really an integral part of this Oklahoma State lineup. Hitting the ball well, shows a lot of maturity, and Coach Ward said that he is very, very pleased with his glove. Doesn't have the great speed, but he's smart and does a good job defensively. Swung on. It's going to be foul.
Couldn't help but watch Cervantes taking practice swings out of the batter's box there, as well as Beanblossom and Law. I mean, talk about guys in the on-deck circle. They got them lined up over there. They can't wait to hit. But a lot of hitting coaches take a hitter and they work with what the hitter has. Take a little different approach. They don't try to have everybody hit the same. Gary Ward has one method, and you will see every Cowboy hitter use that back leg action that we talked about earlier.
Cervantes jumps out of the way. Little acting job there. He got a reaction from the home crowd. You know what he told me today is he calls it his lab time. He doesn't really call it batting practice, but they have lab time, and everybody, they have a system, but they realize that everybody, because of athletic ability, either a lot of or not as much as it, everybody can't hit the same. Line drive, and on one hop, Bob has it, steps on first base, and there's one down.
Gary will get a little scientific with it, but the results kind of speak for themselves.
Yep, that's right.
Record that they've had over the years, and primarily with good hitters. Of course, you have to have good hitters to start with. You're looking at Gary Ward right there. You see the rubberized jacket. That'll give you a little idea of the...
I don't think he had that on in the first inning, did he?
Sun was still out.
Travis Law, who scored the only run of the ball game, steps in. He walked his first time up. Like a slider there, Jim. Nice pitch.
Yeah, both these pitchers have been very impressive. Kafuri goes against the theory of success for pitching. He has been behind a lot of hitters, but he's come back and made good pitches in key situations. Oquist has been very consistent.
Inside for ball one. Another thing that Gary Ward said today, talking about hitting in their theory, he said when they recruit, the two things that are imperative, bat speed and hand strength, when they look at youngsters in the high school ranks or junior college players. Swung on, that's foul back.
On the way he checks him out, I had asked Jeremy Burnitz at a game we televised at College Station between Texas A&M and Oklahoma State, how did you get from Conroe, Texas to Oklahoma State? And I think we mentioned that he's come to Gary Ward's camps here a couple of times, and that's where they get a chance to look at some of these high school players, find out whether they have those qualities that Ward is looking for.
1-2 pitch, swung on, and he got him. I'll tell you something. Mike Oquist, as we take a look at the replay here, have really settled down. He sent Oklahoma State down in order, 1-2-3 in the second inning, after a little bit of a jittery start.
Two areas you try to pitch hitters, high and tight, low and away. Just the way Kafuri did it the inning before. Get ahead, make them chase pitches out of the strike zone. Good results.
Brad Beanblossom steps in, find a little second baseman, flight out to first base. His first time up. 1-0. Oklahoma State on top. Bottom half of the third inning as Beanblossom looks at a strike called in the outside corner.
Don't know how closely you follow the California Angels, Ron, but we get a shot of Mike Oquist here in a minute. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell you who he looks like.
Swung on, popped up to the left side. Stillwell back in the grass. Wind giving him a little bit of a problem. Gets under it and makes the catch. So, very fine inning again for Mike Oquist. 1-2-3, Oklahoma State down in the bottom of the third inning. And as we head to the fourth, it's the Cowboys 1 and the Arkansas Razorbacks nothing.
Nature can be devastating. The wood on your home needs protection. A water sealer waterproofs. Olympic Clear Wood Preservative does too. And Olympic gives you linseed oil that strengthens wood fibers. And additives to resist mildew. And preservatives to resist rot. Water sealers fade by comparison. Olympic, protecting wood for over half a century.
Buy Olympic Clear Wood Preservative through April 30th and get a $1.50 rebate from Olympic.
The game Monopoly is back at McDonald's, bigger and better than ever.
This year, there's more prizes than ever.
McDLT! Coca-Cola! Congratulations!
Hey, collect the right game pieces
And win $2 million! Woohoo! There's over $50 million in prizes, including hundreds of Walt Disney World vacations on Delta Airlines. Play Monopoly at McDonald's. It's not just big, it's huge.
Golf could be the most frustrating sport of all. Even the pros struggle some days, then succeed the next. Follow all the ups and downs inside the PGA Tour every Tuesday on ESPN.
Welcome back to Stillwater, Oklahoma. You saw the top 5 of the latest poll from ESPN, top 25. Let's take a look at the rest of them. Miami of Florida in that number 6 position, then Loyola Marymount, Cal State Fullerton, LSU, and Mississippi State. And by the way, next Saturday, that is the ESPN game of the week. Well, it ought to be a dandy in the Southeastern Conference. And one more group we'll take a look at here. Michigan, California, Clemson, Stanford, and Wichita State, number 15.
Well, I tell you, that's a fun place to go to watch a college baseball game and to be at one. To Starkville, Mississippi.
Well, Starkville is next Saturday, and the following Saturday, you saw that opening 5. Oklahoma State is 1, Fresno number 2, and they've won 20 straight. That's the game 2 weeks or 1 week from this coming Saturday.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, a few of the blankets came out of the trunk of the car for this one tonight. Temperature dropping into the 40s in Stillwater. Line drive, and that's going to be a base hit down the left side as Greg DeAlexander, who has had a really hot bat for the Arkansas Razorbacks, leads it off with a single, and a little bit too hot for Ventura to handle.
Well, it was over to Ventura's backhand side, and he didn't get the glove turned around. He still had the glove in position with thumbs up, and as a result, it went right underneath it.
Alexander now 1 of 2 in the night. He had grounded out shortstop to first his first time up. And he gets a toss back over to first as Kafuri looks at the situation of 2 innings in a row that Arkansas has gotten that leadoff man on.
Take a look at the ground ball to Robin Ventura. You see it right there. He did not get the glove turned around. He's kind of smacks his glove in disgust. He would have liked to have backhanded that ball. It just didn't quite get himself in position to do it.
Kelly Zane, who flied out to center field his first time up. Count even up at 1-1 now. Top of the 4th in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We were talking in between innings. Everybody looked for a big offensive display, but so far, Jim, through the first 3, that has not been it.
Well, we had the same situation in College Station a couple of weeks ago between Texas A&M and Oklahoma State.
Misses the bunt. Throw back to first. Very close on the play, but he got back in time. DeAlexander. And Zane needed about 6 more inches on the bat to complete that one.
See the footwork that's important to a catcher. Now, instead, we're going to see the footwork important to a base runner. He got off there a little bit too far. And by the time Cervantes turned around, DeAlexander had dived back into first base.
Toss back over to first. We'll get one more angle looking from the catcher's perspective.
You look at it right here. Footwork important to a catcher. Watch Adam Smith. See him quick shift those feet?
Base hit into center field. And Arkansas, for the second inning in a row, has the first two batters on base. Down 1-0. And here in the fourth inning, as Kelly Zane delivers his first base hit of the night, that'll bring up Billy Dawson.
Well, this is a big inning for them offensively because they've threatened twice. The first inning, they had 2 men on with 2 out. D. Alexander was at the plate. They didn't score. Then they have 2 on, nobody out with the heart of their order, and they don't score. Now, a third time. If they don't score this trip, they're in trouble.
Runners are moving, throw to third base, and he is safe. Ventura did not get the tag down.
A little aggressive baseball by Norm DeBrine, not known for running and bunting and hitting and running. And tonight we've seen him change. You know, he said Randy Bob's not a good bunter. Can't ever listen to coaches. They're not going to tell you the truth all the time. They're change their strategy. Randy Bob lays down a perfect sacrifice bunt. He said, I don't run a lot. What's he do right here? Double steal.
Hit and run was on. Dawson, the designated hitter, missed it. Count is 0-1. So Kafuri, with nobody out, top of the fourth inning. Arkansas Razorbacks at second and a third. D. Alexander is at third. Kelly Zane is at second. Swung on. Fly ball to center field. Law retreating. This should be easily enough for D. Alexander to come home. He will score, and we're tied as Zane moves down to third base.
And Dawson does the job, as you see right there. D. Alexander getting congratulations, and the missed hit and run or double steal that Norm DeBrine put on results in a run to tie the ball game here.
We were asking this afternoon at the end of our meeting about it didn't seem as though Arkansas had been running as much this year. And he said maybe not in previous years, but I think 83 stolen bases is their record, and they're at 67, now 69 after the double steal tonight.
Well, here's the guy he likes to squeeze with, but it's only the fourth inning of a 1-1 ball game. You wouldn't expect the squeeze right here. But, of course, good coaches and managers will try to do the unexpected.
Thomas 0 for 1. Strike called. Popped out to the catcher his first time up.
That's been refreshing to see for a baseball fan also, and I consider myself a baseball fan, that they throw the book away. Years ago, it was the book says you do this and the book says you do that.
Curveball on a 1-1 pitch. Strike 2 called.
And managers and coaches today, instead of playing all those percentages that have been traditional in baseball for years, they improvise, do their own thing. There's the split finger. You see the late drop on that particular pitch.
1-2 the count. 1 out. Swung on, and that's fouled out of play down the right side.
Tom Kelly tried that same play for the Minnesota Twins yesterday in Toronto and ended up being the play that won the ball game for him. Catcher threw the ball into left field. Twins came up with a couple. So even on the big league level, don't just play by the book. Play the way they want to.
Thomas hit by the pitch. He thought that was going to break. It did not move a great deal, and it caught him.
I think once again that was the split finger. You see it come out a little early and break in toward Thomas. Got him right in the thigh. Hit Randy Bob with a similar pitch in the first inning.
Rod Stillwell comes to the plate. So Arkansas with runners at the corners. Only 1 down, top of the fourth. And we're tied at 1 apiece. That's Kelly Zane at third. Tom Kafuri trying to work himself out of a jam. Is Stillwell, who singled his first time up, steps in. Strike call. Stillwell back in the third inning. Singled. And moved down to second base on the sack. Swung on and missed. Now he's in a hole at 0-2.
Don Thomas at second base. Not a high percentage base stealer. He's stolen 6 but been thrown out 4 times. This ball in the dirt, and he makes it into second base easily.
So Stillwell, after the stolen base by Don Thomas, down at second. Inside, 1-2. Stillwell glances down to his third base coach, but he knows what this sign's going to be. It's in the strike zone. Take it on. Only 1 out. Swung on. Bouncer to the right side. Very quickly, Cervantes throws back to first, and they got him. Kafuri gets over to make the cover, and Stillwell is out at first, but Arkansas scores the go-ahead run as Zane comes home, and the Razorbacks move in front 2-1.
Let's get a look at this play. Boy, Cervantes makes a tremendous play and leads Kafuri perfectly. Close play at first, just gets the foot down in time to beat Stillwell. That was an outstanding play on both the first baseman's part as well as the pitcher.
Don Thomas down at third base. Ball butted foul. Is Scott Pose, who is 1 of 2 tonight.
Yeah, I think this play deserves another look, Ron. That's the most difficult play. First baseman coming in, seeing that it's like the little short pass in football. And it looked on the second replay there that Stillwell may have had it tied, but that was a great play on the part of Kafuri and Cervantes.
So Kelly Zane has come across to put the Razorbacks in front by a score of 1-0.
Keith Hernandez, probably the best in baseball at coming in, making that play, and leading the pitcher with a perfect throw. That's the key to it.
Post swung on and missed.
Well, Kafuri, as advertised before the ball game by his coaches, just continues to come right after you with that split finger fastball.
1-2 the count. 2 men out. Outside and high. Ball 2. Top half of the 4th inning from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott. Taking a look at the top-ranked Cowboys of Oklahoma State against the University of Arkansas, who is ranked in the top 25 of this week's ESPN poll. Line on the ground, unassisted. Cervantes will take it to first base, so the Cowboys are out of the inning, but not before the Razorbacks on 2 base hits score another run to go in front. And as we head to the bottom of the 4th, it is Arkansas 2-1 over Oklahoma State.
Hi there. You looking for Mr. Wright?
Give this guy a light. And Bud Light here.
Ask for Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste. Because everything else is just a light.
Thanks. Keep the change.
Got a different kind of face, a different kind of smile, a different kind of grace to go in my own face. I got a different kind of style.
At Pearl, we find out what makes you different. That's what makes us different. You not only get your glasses fast, you get just what you're looking for.
I got a different kind of style.
All the names, all the games, all the time. Only on ESPN.
Allie Reynolds Field in Stillwater, Oklahoma. 2-1 Arkansas on top as the Razorbacks come up with 2 runs in the 4th inning. Robin Ventura will lead it off here in the 4th inning for the Cowboys. When you look at the career stats in this young man, .432 doubles, 63 runs scored, and also in a home run, second with a total of 54. And in total bases, Jim, 500 in his career. That puts him second on the list. And in fact, in total base hits, third right there.
Wow. Rockin' Robin. That's him. And
college baseball's player of the year, 1987.
You know, he was hitting 284. They talked about his slow start. He gave his bat to a friend here at Oklahoma State as a souvenir. And then decided, I better get that bat. Of course, ball players aren't superstitious by any means. He said, I better get the bat back. And now his average is back up there in the Robin Ventura zone. Remember I told you about, let's get a look at Mike Oquist, who followed the California Angels. Looks like a young Butch Weiniger right there. Little Butch.
Really does.
Boy, what a ratio right there. He's been very consistent.
Ventura singled his first time up. That was back in the first inning. Strike called. So the Razorbacks score a couple. The Alexander and Kelly Zane in the fourth inning to put the Arkansas club on top as we play in the bottom half of the fourth. You know, that wind has calmed down considerably. That flag in left field is not really limp, but it was stiff when they were taking batting practice this afternoon. Ball high, 2-1. Ventura took a good pitch back in the first inning with a base hit. 1-2 pitch. Released it for a single.
He went down and got it. You saw that pitch right there from Mike Oquist. They had scouting reports in college, too, just like the pros. Robin Ventura, good low ball hitter. Oquist trying to pitch him high with the fastball.
Strike called in the inside corner. That's a nice pitch. He did the same thing back in the first inning as we take a look at the defense. And again, Jim, just like we saw back in the first inning, the respect that they have, even with a guy who can burn it pretty good like Oquist can, the fact that the center fielder, Thomas, is more than shaded.
Pose almost needs a ticket to play in this game. That pitch right there, low and in, good hitter's pitch, but what made it effective, had some late movement. It was inside, came back across the corner.
2-2 pitch, swung on, didn't get all of it, on the run, base hit. It's just what Jim was talking about, the fact that Pose was almost back to the warning track, and that was just too much to ask. I don't think a sprinter could have gotten to that one. And for Robin Ventura, he's now 2 for 2 tonight.
That's where the power hitters get a lot of extra hits. They have that power. The defense respects them. They play deep. That's a good pitch by Oquist. Hit him in on the hands. That's a metal bat hit. You see Pose, as you mentioned, had too far to come by playing Ventura as a power hitter, and he gets a base hit.
Little smile from Robin there, and he may know, probably saying to himself, I know I didn't get all of that one, but in the record books it says base hit. And of course, the leadoff runner, he was on first. Monty Ferris swung on, fouled back.
See, that's a different Monty Ferris from last year. He walked 92 times last year. He was a very, very patient hitter. And Gary Ward, first of all, in general, has his hitters look at a pitch or two. But this year, Ferris has come back and been a much more aggressive hitter. He'll go after the pitch early in the count like he did right there.
Ortiz on deck for Oklahoma State. Cowboys trailing 2-1 to Arkansas. Pitch is high.
Should point out, Ron, that we mentioned that last hit Ventura got was a metal bat hit. He went to the Cape Cod League this summer and hit over 350 with a wood bat, so he can hit with any bat.
Oquist, you see what he has done tonight as far as results of his pitching performance. Tried to get the inside corner. Same place when he got a Ventura a moment ago on that fast strike. Just inside, though. Some inclement weather causing some problems over toward the east in the majors.
Sound like that ball hit his bat. That's a good pitch on the part of Oquist, but now he's fallen behind Ferris 3-1, and of course Monty Ferris with 16 homers and 57 RBIs on the year. This is what power hitters thrive on. When they can get a pitcher in the hole, 3 balls and 1 strike, in a 1-run ball game, knows he's going to get something near that hitting zone. He's going to have an aggressive swing at this pitch if it's close to the hitting zone.
Last time Oklahoma State scored in the first, that's when the leadoff man got on. Travis Law walked. 3-1 pitch. The delivery, high pop into center field. Thomas is under it and makes the catch.
Well, that's one of those pitches right there where you pitch, you kind of wipe your brow and say, wow, 1/4 inch. He hits that ball about 1/4 inch higher on the ball. That baby's out over the hedge about 450 feet. I mean, that was a big league pop-up. Looked at Don Thomas right there, the center fielder. He had to wait a long time for that to come down. You see the aggressive swing right in Monty Ferris's zone. Had a good swing at it, good extension. Can't ask for any more than that. He just missed it. He knows it.
Also, the reason that Thomas took extra time is because the wind gave him fits earlier on when Adam Smith flied out to him back in the 2nd inning. Pitch is low to Ortiz for ball 1. But as we said, that wind has died just a little bit, so the outfielders get a little bit more of a break as far as getting a read on the ball and picking it up coming off the bat. 2-1 Arkansas in top, playing bottom half of the 4th inning. Ortiz at the plate. Castillo is the man on deck for the Cowboys. Swung on, and this one, a very high hop fly again, this time to right field. As Pose is under it, draws a bead, and makes the catch.
Wow, that's 2 in a row, the Cowboys. I know both Ferris and Ortiz are back on the bench saying, hey, we had good swings at him. Just got under him, and you made a point about the wind. I think earlier in the ball game, both of those balls may have had a chance.
That one for sure. There you see the flag. And that rascal's just not moving a lot at all. When the teams were taking batting practice in infield just prior to the ball game, it was almost stiff. 2 men down. Castillo steps in. Struck out back in the 2nd inning.
Those happy eyes again. Boy, you know, you hate to put this kind of a comparison on anyone because this man was in a class by himself. But when you look at some of his actions and then watch him run down the line, you see a little bit of Roberto Clemente. Not many better than the late, great Roberto Clemente.
Ventura at first base as the pitch is inside to Castillo.
Gary Ward said when Castillo's college career is over and if he plays pro ball whenever he's done, he said, Benny, I'm going to send you to the Dominican and you may be my Dominican recruiter. So many great ball players coming out of there.
Strike called right down the middle. Not a bad idea.
Effie Guerrero is a scout down there that has done just a tremendous job for the Toronto Blue Jay organization. They're probably the organization that has captured most of the Dominican talent.
Ventura with his lead off first as Oquist checks him out, and the ball into the dirt and will get by Kramers. That's going to be a wild pitch, I believe.
Now, Kramers mechanically did what catchers do. He shifted his body out of the zone. Get a look at it here. See, he shifts his body, puts his hands out there, tries to block it. Hey, every now and then, like in hockey, one of them gets through. You can't block them all.
Wild pitch, and the runner moves down to second base. And now with Ventura at second, the double jeopardy situation here following the wild pitch on a single, all of a sudden we can have a tie ball game again. With Ventura at first base, a single doesn't kill you.
And as you mentioned, the other time the Cowboys got the leadoff man on, they scored.
Ball 4 as Castillo trots down to first base. So all of a sudden, Oquist, who had given up a leadoff single to Robin Ventura, then had gotten Ferris and Ortiz to fly out, now has walked Castillo, runners at first and second, and the Cowboys mounting a threat here at the bottom of the 4th. Arkansas's out hit Oklahoma State 5-2 so far.
And Ron, you know, in most situations, you'd say, well, I'm down near the bottom of the order, so this isn't that dangerous. But the bottom of the Cowboy order, you're looking at Smith hitting .358, Burnitz .353, and Cervantes at .352. That's a little thunder down at the bottom part of the batting order.
Adam Smith steps out as he thought Oak was taking just a little bit too much time. Breaking ball low. Don't forget, this weekend, next college baseball game for ESPN, Mississippi State and LSU. A couple of really fine clubs in the Southeastern Conference, both in the top 10. In the following week, you'll get a chance to see BYU taking on number 2 ranked Fresno. Fastball inside corner.
LSU, coached by Skip Bertman. Talk about Gary Ward's hitting technique, and known as an outstanding hitting coach. Skip Bertman, for years Ron Frazier's pitching coach at Miami, will be the Olympic pitching coach this year. He's done a good job there as head coach at LSU, as well as having an influence on the pitchers.
1-1 the count, 2 men out. Ball down low, ball 2. You know, it's interesting you bring it up. And I was visiting with Gary Ward today. He used the term during the conversation talking about hitting, about himself having a passion for. And, you know, I said, you know, it reminds me of a conversation I had with Skip Bertman earlier this year before his team faced off against Florida State, because he looks at pitching with that same kind of passion that Ward does toward pitching, hitting here at Oklahoma State. Line drive, and it catches chalk into the corner. 1 runner's going to score as Ventura will come home. Racing for the plate is Castillo, and it's a 3-2 ball game as Oklahoma State just that quickly, and the ball now goes into the dugout, and Smith will trot down to third base.
And he's going to come all the way home. It's an outfield overthrow. Very careless on the part of pitcher Mike Oakquist. Little careless defense. An infield overthrow goes into the dugout. It's just 1 base, but an outfield overthrow, the umpire can rule that the hitter can get the base he was going toward +1. Now, there's a little bit of a dispute here that Norm DeBrine will come out and dispute the fact that was Adam Smith actually going toward third base. But that overthrow cost the Razorbacks an extra run unless the home plate umpire decides to change his decision. Oakquist got in position. He did everything right. The only thing wrong, the ball went between his legs and went into the Arkansas dugout. There's a look at Pose chasing the line drive down in the corner. Now the cutoff throw right here is the one that sails well over Kramer's head. Now Oakquist is in position. Oops, got by him. Now he mentions he's pointing toward third base.
And that's the reason for the discussion, so you score it. Adam Smith with a double on the play.
Well, now, do we have to assume, Ron, that Gary Ward is that smart of a baseball coach? I mean, we had 2 lineup changes tonight. Adam Smith was not in the lineup at all. All of a sudden, at the last minute, he's inserted into the number 7 hole and comes up here to knock in the lead runs. He wasn't even going to play tonight.
I think it's going to be scored as the discussion goes on. A 2-base hit, 2 RBIs, and an E4 on the overthrow.
Now, Zane gets the error, and it was a bad throw, but I'm sure Mike Oakquist would be the first one to admit that he should have at least blocked the ball and kept it out of the Arkansas dugout. He was in position. He just didn't make the play.
You know, Jim, it all happened on that on the wild pitch just a while ago. Or it seemed as though when the wheels came off, because there were 2 men down, Ventura's resting down at first base. Then all of a sudden, Castillo walks.
He'd been very consistent through the first 3 innings, Mike Oakquist.
Ball is down low. That'll even things up at 1-1. Burnitz, first time up tonight, struck out swinging. fastball. 1-2, and again he works in front of Burnitz. Yet the youngster now walks off the back of the mound for just a moment, and again it's got to be going through his head, Jimmy, the sequence in this inning after giving up the leadoff single and then getting the next two batters, Ferris and Ortiz. Not an easy task to get them to fly out. Then the fireworks. Ball inside. I'll tell you what, Smith, the ball that he hit, you could see in the replay, he just drew chalk. That was not a tough call to make. He put it right down the line, close as you can make it. Two-two the count. Line drive, base hit up the middle. So the Oklahoma State Cowboys had rebounded to score 3 in this inning. Now with Burnitz with a single down at first base and Manny Cervantes. Back-to-back freshman combination here that has been very deadly. And when you got guys like these who hit in the number 8 and 9 positions, it just gives you firepower all up and down. As we're going to have a momentary timeout.
Norm DeBrine's going to come out and give his bullpen a little time to get ready. But if you're Mike Oquist right now, you want to don't get too down. Don't get discouraged because of the fact you come in against Oklahoma State and you try too hard to pitch a low-run ball game. You have to understand these guys average double figures. If you can just hold them to 4 or 5 runs, Arkansas has enough offense to win this ball game. But of course, what the Cowboys do to opposing pitchers is they get a couple of runs like they've done this inning, and then the pitcher begins to get a little timid, shies out of the strike zone, doesn't have quite the same stuff on the ball that he does the early innings. And that's what's happened to Oquist right here. Let's get a look at the swing of Jeremy Burnitz. Once again, watch that back knee. Down in the strike zone, left-hand hitters, good low ball hitters. Gary Ward, a real believer in using that lower body. Of course, what will happen to a lot of these young players if they go on to play pro ball, they may not be able to hit with that same style, because that kind of lower body action with the aluminum bat is fine on the college level. But with the heavier wooden bat and the more experienced big league pitchers, you're going to have some sore thumbs.
That was Swoop on the right. Sebuhar, the left-hander, warming up for Arkansas. 2 men down, bottom of the 4th. Cowboys have gone back on top, 4-2, as they tallied 3 runs here in the bottom of the 4th. Cervantes 0 for 1 tonight. Bounced out to the first baseman, Randy Bobb, his first time up. That was back in the 3rd inning. Low into the dirt. Good job again by Kramers. Kramers with some words of encouragement. Rather firm words of encouragement, I would say, from the looks on his face.
Well, Oquist is just a sophomore. He had a little experience last year with this ball club, got into the College World Series, had an outstanding fall in their fall program, and he's just a sophomore.
Strike called in the outside corner, evens it up at 1-1.
79 pitches, a very, very high total through 4 innings right here. His ball strike ratio fallen off a little. But, of course, at that rate of pitches, you wouldn't expect him to pitch more than another inning after this one at the most.
Curveball, strike called. I think 5 innings is the longest that he's gone this year.
Well, that might be a reason why. Oftentimes, the reason that managers lift pitchers in the middle of a ball game or into that 6th inning is for that very reason. They throw as many pitches in 5 or 6 innings that other pitchers do in 8 or 9.
1-2 pitch goes back over to first. Hope is much more deliberate now as he looks at the situation where the Cowboys have picked up 3 runs in this inning. Runner at first base, that's Burnitz. And Manny Cervantes at the plate. Swung on, and he got him swinging. Take one more look at the strikeout right here.
Well, he finished with a good one, Ron. I'll tell you, this fastball had plenty on it. Look at the movement, sinking low and away in the strike zone. Cervantes swings right through it.
So the 5th strikeout of the ball game for Oquist, but not before the Cowboys come up with 3 runs. And as we head to the top of the 5th, it is Oklahoma State 4, Arkansas 2.
The easy touch up for spots and grime. Stick it, it takes no time. Brighten up chrome, clear foggy glass. Stick it, it's clean and fast. Stick it.
Car Stick, the first car care products in a stick applicator. They're not for cleaning your whole car. Just pick out the spot, hit it with a stick, and buff. That's it. The quick, clean, easy way to touch up your car. The Car Stick, for when you don't need to clean the whole thing.
Stick it.
I'm even jazzier in my BVDs.
Hey, I drive even faster in my BVDs.
I'm more intimidating in my BVDs.
BVD brand underwear. Whatever you do, that extra comfort helps you do it better.
I became a TV heartthrob in my BVDs.
America, do it better. Do it in your BVDs.
At my age, I've done just about everything in my BVDs.
It's television's only official weekly pro basketball report. Follow the Lakers' attempt at a 2nd straight title and the teams who could shoot them down on the NBA Today, every Wednesday on ESPN.
Here you see our scores. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Top-ranked Oklahoma State coming back with 3 runs in the 4th to move back on top of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And let's finish out the top 25 we had been showing you earlier. Washington State, the number 16 club. Florida State down number 19. They were a leadoff team this year against Florida State. Against LSU, we should say. Southern Cal, 21. Arkansas, 24. And in the number 25 position, the Spartans of Michigan State. Randy Bob to open it up here in the 5th for Arkansas, followed by Eklund and Kramers.
He was hurt quite a bit last year, Randy Bob, and Norm DeBryan got a bad break when in the regionals, injured an ankle, and in the College World Series could not use him for the first few ball games. Fastball up out of the strike zone there for ball 1. He did come on, though, and almost single-handedly win one of the games. They finished 5th in the College World Series last year.
Norm DeBryan's club going to the College World Series 2 of the last 3 years.
They're kind of up against it this year. They're 4-5 in conference play. They play in that tough Southwestern Conference. Texas and Texas A&M are in there. So out of a 21-game schedule, they've got to win most of the rest of their games, do well in the tournament, maybe hope they get a regional berth someplace else in the country.
You know, Southwest Conference almost came up with 3 clubs last year. As you see the pitch fouled off. And Kafuri moves in front of him 1-2. Texas and Arkansas were in Omaha, and Texas A&M was on the doorstep. As the old expression goes, on the lip of the cup of being there. And this year, the conference playing equally as tough as it has. Curveball swung on to the left side, knocked down by Ventura, has time, makes the throw to first. Nice play.
Boy, he's got a strong arm. Both he and Ferris over there. Of course, nowadays, the college athletes with the weight programs available. You mentioned Bean Blossom's extra base hit production and Monty Ferris this year. Kids spend a lot of time in the weight room. Mark McGuire is a good example on the big league level. He'll tell you, he said, I'm addicted to weightlifting. You know, don't blame him. Hit 49 home runs. I'd go out there and lift some weights, too. But you see it on the playing field, the strength. And that throw right there by Ventura, a good example of it.
Troy Eklund pitches outside. He is 0 for 2 tonight. In fact, has struck out in both of his appearances at the plate. You know, Jim, it brings up a good point. You remember when we were growing up as kids, if you were going to be a baseball player, they didn't let you near a weight.
Yeah, get muscle bound, be too stiff. Yeah.
Count even now at 1-1. Attendance at tonight's ball game, 2,343. And to mention again, the temperature was in the 50s when we started and is dropping into the 40s tonight. Right back to Fury, over to first, and 2 down. So Kafuri, after the last 2 innings of giving up a leadoff base hit to the Razorbacks, now has sent Bob and Eklund back to the dugout, and he faces Kramers, who has 1 hit tonight, 1 of 2. That was back in the first inning. Flied out to third his last time up, back in the 3rd inning.
Kramer's like Robin Ventura for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Arkansas swings him way around. The Cowboys swing Kramer's way around to right field. Travis Law on right center.
Now Kafuri's going to step off the mound and work on his shoestrings for just a moment.
He was drafted last year, Jim Kramers, but decided to come back in his senior year. He was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
0-1 pitch on the way. Ground ball to second base. Bean Blossom. Easy toss over to first. Cervantes steps on the bag, but it's an easy inning. 1-2-3 for Tom Kafuri. So as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning, it is the top-ranked Cowboys of Oklahoma State 4 and Arkansas 2.
Daddy and you go to sail for the day. Make sure the power lines are far away. When your daddy and you make the house look fine, don't raise ladders or antennas near power lines. Hey, if this lightning bug doesn't raise his antenna near power lines, no way! You gotta stay away from power lines. You gotta stay away from power lines.
Are you confused by all the different equipment on the market today? You should be. Take it from me, David Graham. For the best advice on what equipment will suit your game, visit Nevada Bob's. They can professionally fit you with all the top names in golf. Nevada Bob's is known for its low prices, but don't forget they also offer the best selection of all the top names in golf equipment, clothing, and accessories. For service, selection, quality, and always the best prices, shop Nevada Bob's.
4-2 our scores. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Ron Franklin along with Jim Cott. It's great to have you along on this Monday evening. Some of the crowd in their blankets here in Stillwater. Don't forget Steffi Graf, the world's #1 player, is the defending champion. Last year she defeated Hannah Mundlikova in the Bosch and Lom Championships. Amelia Island Plantation in Amelia Island, Florida, that begins on Thursday. ESPN's Cliff Drysdale and Mary Carrillo will provide the commentary. Just named the best male and female commentators in a Tennis Magazine Reader's Survey. You know, we talked a lot about Oklahoma State tonight and the people that they have either sent to the bigs or had an All-American list. Hey, what the Razorbacks have got a very formidable-looking group themselves.
Jeff King was the #1 pick in 1986. The Pirates have him. He's in AAA. Tim Lawler, of course, played some in the big leagues. He's not there anymore.
Show you some more of them in just a moment as Travis Law steps back in, up to bat for his 3rd time this evening.
Kevin McReynolds with the Mets. Ron Reynolds, formerly with the Mets. We've talked about Andy Skeels, All-American catcher here. Not an All-American, but a player that's in the big leagues, Tom Pagnazzi, backup catcher with the Cardinals.
1-0 pitch outside. Law walked back in the 1st inning, scored the 1st run of the ball game this evening. Then struck out swinging back in the 3rd. Four to 2, Oklahoma State on top.
That's kind of a telltale sign now, Ron. You see Oquist fall behind 3-0. He's up in the mid-80s in his pitch count. We're only in the 5th inning, and both innings that the Cowboys have put the leadoff man on base, they have scored. And I'm sure if Law gets on first base, we'll see Big John Siebehar begin to throw again down in the Arkansas bullpen.
Swoop has just gotten back up. Strike called.
Siebehar, of course, is their ace starter. left-hander, Ray Harris, who has been effective this year but has elbow problems we mentioned earlier in the ballgame.
3-1 the count to Travis Law. Swung on, deep to right, on the warning track, and Pose makes the catch right up against the wall as that ball continued to drift on him.
Wow, that's good play right there by Scott Pose. Not much wind. I mean, it's picked up a little bit, but you see how he drifts and drifts, finds the warning track. Now, an outfielder, what you want to do right here is try to find the wall.
Whoa.
Try to get back to the wall and find the wall, and then come in and catch the ball if you have to. But in that particular case, you look at Scott Pose, the wind just kind of drifted, carried that ball, and it drifted and drifted.
Bean Blossom steps in. He's still looking for his first hit tonight. Fielding percentage. In fact, Arkansas, at their current pace right now, would be a new club record. They are looking at that this year. 9.73.
Well, what's surprising about that is they're going to set a school record defensively in all probability, but usually pitching and defense go together. Their pitching has not been on a par with their defense. Too many base on balls. They've walked 177 men in 300. They've averaged about over 5 walks per ball game.
10-game hitting streak for Bean Blossom. 0 for 2 tonight. Popped out to the first baseman and then to the shortstop. See a streak right there, 17 to 43 with 11 RBIs. Swung on, fly into center field. Thomas underneath the ball, draws the bead, and he's got it.
Well, the last couple innings, they've hit a lot more fly balls. Remember the ball that Ferris just missed, and then Ortiz just missed one in the last inning. And now this inning, Law with a long fly to right, and Bean Blossom just got under that one. That tells you one thing. The pitcher's getting a little higher in the strike zone than he was in the early innings.
You look back at the last inning, you know, we talk about he gave up that opening single to Robin Ventura, and then Ferris and Ortiz popped out, and then that's when the wheels came off right after that. But this time, with nobody on base, is both Law and Bean Blossom go down, and Ventura steps up to the plate again.
Pitching philosophies have changed over the years, Ron, but Branch Rickey used to have a theory: throw strikes for 5 innings and low strikes for 4 more. Of course, pitching in and out is much more important nowadays than it ever was before. Just pitching down is not good enough because there's a lot of good low ball hitters. One of them's in the box right now.
1-0 pitch on the way. 2 men down, high and outside.
Yeah, for years you could hear him from the dugout. Keep the ball down. Keep the ball down. You keep the ball down to George Brett and Ken Herbeck and Don Mattingly. You better keep it moving in and out a little bit also.
Jimmy, why is that are there more low ball hitters, good low ball hitters than there used to be?
Oh, many more.
Why?
That's a good question. I don't know anybody that has a pat answer for it. I know one of the theories that I have is years ago, hitters used to carry the bat on their shoulder in a flatter position much more than they do now. And of course, with the bat on the shoulder flat, you have a flatter swing. You're more apt to hit the high pitch. Now, as in Ventura's case, you see more hitters carrying the bat up and down.
Strike called. That'll take it full. You know, in all 3 batters this inning, he has gone to 3 balls.
So you carry that bat straight up and down. It's much easier. You can get the barrel of that bat down to the knees a lot quicker than you can at a ball that's up around shoulder height.
3-1 the count. Robin Ventura, 2 men out here in the bottom of the 5th. Cowboys on top by 2. Strike called.
That kind of surprised me that he took that one, but on the outside edge of the plate on a 3-1 pitch, of course, Ventura, like a lot of hitters, when they're ahead of the pitcher, they will look for a pitch in a particular zone. How about that stat right there?
Well, that's what coaches and managers love to see right there. The great bat control can go with the pitch wherever it is. Outside, ball 4.
See that 3-1 pitch that he took. A lot of hitters will sit on a pitch in a particular zone. Ventura probably looking for the ball from the middle of the plate in. Didn't get it there, so he took it, even though it was a strike.
Joe Ventura on base all 3 times tonight, Jim. Singled in the first, singled in the fourth, and now with a walk. And it's a 2-out walk. As Monty Ferris will come in. And Swoop and Seebohar back up again. They had been standing up idly there for a couple of moments as there were 2 down. And, of course, Seebohar is the left-hander. He's on the left. Swung on and missed by Ferris. Oh for 1 tonight. Also has an RBI in the ball game. Kramer fakes a throw down to first base, at least to draw his attention.
Saw that statistic on Robin Ventura's strikeout ratio. Over 2 years, he struck out about once every 10 at-bats, 51 times and 512 at-bats. Good ratio for a power hitter.
Nice breaking pitch. 1-2.
If you compute that out with the greats, with the Reggie Jacksons and the Mantles and the Mike Schmidts, if they go to the plate 550 times a year, a lot of them are striking out 150 times.
Four to 2. Cowboys on top. Oquist with the runner at first. 2 men down. Swung on and missed. So as we head to the 6th inning, Arkansas trailing Oklahoma State by a score of 4-2.
Come on, everybody, the lights got a breakfast dance. Once McKinsey's gonna do it. There's nothing to it to the Bud Light Slide. We'll tell left and right when the music's hot. Have a cold Bud Light to the Bud Light Slide.
Bud McKenzie parties with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
Cold Bud. Have a cold Bud Light to the Bud Light Slide.
You give it your best, so we give you ours, and things keep looking better all the time. Lose sight, it's a science and an art. You get great color from the start. Lose sight when it's coming from the heart. It's the science and the art of painting.
Give it your best. Give it Lucite.
Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's where we are tonight as we head to the top half of the 6th inning with Oklahoma State on top by a count of 4-2. And we mentioned just a while ago, Jim, in that top 10 of the ESPN poll, LSU and Mississippi State sitting down the number 9 and number 10 positions. Well, that is the game on Sunday, April the 17th, 8 o'clock Eastern time over in Starkville, Mississippi.
Well, you talk about a couple of great college programs. We mentioned Skip Bertman at LSU. Ron Polk over at Mississippi State has produced a couple of outstanding players. Will the Thrill Clark with the Giants, and Rafael Palmeiro, now with the Chicago Cubs.
The Alexander leads it off here in the 6th inning. See the numbers on him. 1 for 2 tonight. Single back in the 4th inning. And in fact, wound up coming around to score to tie the ball game at 1 apiece. Foul just to the left of third. At Mississippi State, what they call it, the terrorist group down the left field line that gets really involved in the ball games.
Used to be the left field lounge. They have changed it to the outfield lounge.
The outfield lounge.
Improving their image.
The very nice looking breaking pitch. 1-2, the count on the Alexander. Grounded out back of the first. Then after he scored, tied the ball game. Then Kelly Zane came home, and Arkansas went in front 2-1. Reaches out to get that one. Getting a roll foul.
Just about the time I made the comment that both these guys were up in the 80s and too many pitches through 5 innings. Both Oquist and Kifuri, you see his line right there through 5 innings, have gone back out. He hasn't walked the batter yet, but he has thrown a lot of pitches. But they still both appear to be in command.
Oklahoma State, 4 runs on 4 hits, no errors. Arkansas 2, 5, and 1. Swung on and missed.
Well, you want to know why so many pitchers would like to be able to throw the split finger fastball. Here's why. See how that late break out of the strike zone looks like a strike about thigh high, and then you go to swing at it and it's down below the knees.
89 pitches so far for him. And his numbers looking better, particularly after that 1-2-3 inning back in the 5th. Kelly Zane, second baseman, looks at an outside pitch. Oklahoma State scored 1 in the first and 3 in the 4th. Arkansas with 2 in the 4th inning. By the way, that error on Zane back in the 4th was the first in 38 games this year for him, Jim.
Kind of a careless error, really. He overthrew the catcher by a long ways, and had Oquist blocked that ball, would have prevented Zane from getting charged with an error.
Swung on, another. Picked up by Ventura. Off balance throw. Good heavens. What a nice play.
A lot of talk about the hitting at Oklahoma State. Ventura and Ferris, Adam Smith. Not too much on the defense. Get a look at this play. One thing you like to see in a third baseman, lateral movement. A bit of Brooks Robinson there with that off-balance throw. Don't have to have tremendous speed to be a good third baseman, but good lateral movement, quick action. Ventura showed it right there.
Jim, does it depend on the individual player? What you could see on the stance as he was down ready when the pitch came. His base was not that wide. His feet were fairly close together. When you have seen particularly third basemen who use a very wide stance.
Every infielder has a little different way, a little different action that they try to go into to get ready for the pitch.
Strike called, 1-1. Billy Dawson grounded out, second to first, back in the 2nd inning. And flied out back in the 4th. That fly out in the 4th, as you can see, sacrifice fly for an RBI. Yes, sir. The play just a moment ago by Ventura. You can see Monty Ferris back behind him, ready to make the play. Ventura just kept on coming, scooped it up, and made the throw to first. With ease and with time.
Well, footwork is so important to an infielder. And that's why it's unfair to judge and say this guy's too short, this guy's too tall. You want to look for the footwork and the coordination of the feet and the arm for a middle infielder. Just take guys like Brooks Robinson that we mentioned, or Greg Nettles. He didn't have a strong arm, a rifle like a Gary Gaetti. Good action, get rid of the ball quick and accurate.
Dawson draws the walk, first base runner since back in the 4th for Arkansas. And we'll look at that one more time.
Yeah, see, Monty Ferris is right there. If Ventura can't get to it, he still has a shot at it.
So Dawson down at first base, and Don Thomas, the center fielder, will step in. He was hit by a pitch his last time up back in the fourth. Fury looks over at first base, and Dawson not with a very big lead at all. Outside corner, nice pitch. Four to 2, Oklahoma State on top as we play in the top half of the 6th inning in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Cowboys with a great record here at home, as a lot of schools, Jim, with the good programs consistently just don't lose a lot in their own backyard. They're 19-0 in this 88 season.
And I think in their last 115, they've lost 10.
Strike called. Evens it up at 2-2. Carl Myers up in the bullpen for Oklahoma State. Fury's got to be getting very close to or right up on 100 pitches in the ball game, isn't he?
Yeah, he has 2 complete games this year and a shutout. But Gary Ward he'll go to his bullpen. He's got 3-4 guys down there that he can rotate. Myers is one of them. Brian Gore, Gerstein, Brent Bell. So he's a little more. He's got a little more firepower down there than Norm DeBrine does in his bullpen.
104 pitches for him so far, Jim. 2-2 pitch. Boy, I can't believe that Thomas took that one. But you know what? In the last at-bat back in the 4th inning when he was hit, I think he was looking for the same kind of pitch and it never broke. It caught him on the leg. So,
well, what'll happen often, you see the ball's right at him. And instead of breaking, it just almost caught the inside corner there. But anytime the ball's right at the hitter, that's going to freeze him a little bit.
Toss back over to first. Dawson back in plenty of time. Arkansas looking to get back in this one. Got a 2-out situation with the runner at first. After DeAlexander opened up the inning with a strikeout swinging, then Zane grounded out. Line drive, just foul. And I mean just foul by a couple of feet.
Well, they're waiting for a call. Thomas continued to run. And out in left field, Burnett's continued to play the ball, because with the 3 umpiring crew right here, with 1 umpire at first and 1 at second, you got a delayed call as to whether it was a fair or foul ball.
So Thomas did exactly what you're supposed to do, and that's keep on running until somebody tells you to stop running.
Run till they call you out or foul ball. There you get a look at it right there. Just foul down the left field line.
Pitch, and he goes back over to first base again. Runner is going, pitch in the dirt, and a walk as Thomas will head down to first base. And now, we mentioned just a moment ago that Olson was, or Myers rather, Carl Myers was up in the Oklahoma State bullpen, and now a pinch runner heading into second base. Dawson will come out of the ball game. Robert Person will be the pinch runner at second base.
Robert's just a freshman out of St. Louis University High School, St. Louis, Missouri. Outstanding football and baseball player in high school. And Norm DeBrine won't make a lot of moves with this lineup. He's got a couple of men he'll call on to pinch hit. And Person is the man he'll call on to pinch run, which he's doing right here.
So Stillwell steps in. Again with runners on base, and it gets an outside pitch. Ball 1.
There you're looking at Thomas at first and Person at second. It would be a little more, I would think, a little more logical if Person went in to run at first base, because that's the tying run. You've got enough speed over there in Thomas, so the runner at second really not as critical. Most of the time you'll see coaches or managers late in the ball game put a pinch runner in for that tying or lead run over at first base, but with Person at second, his speed is only going to make it a 4-3 ball game.
Pitch is high. 2-1. We mentioned Myers is up in the bullpen. We also understand that Gardello has gotten up, and he is loosening up. Norm DeBran looking on very intently. His ball club down 4-2, but this is the same kind of rally that Oklahoma State came up with to pick up 3 runs, Jim, back in the 4th inning.
Yeah, and he's Kafuri really losing command of things right now. You get down near the bottom of the order, and he has the reputation and the mentality really where he goes right at hitters, but it's very noticeable this inning that he has become more of a defensive pitcher. Not what you want to see when you're facing the bottom of the order. You can see that if you're going through the heart of a batting order. You pitch a little more care.
Strike ball. So 2 men out, 3-2 the count. Runners are going to be moving. Arkansas tried to do the same thing Oklahoma State did in the 4th, and that is start their rally with 2 men out. Person at second. Thomas is down at first. Good speed on the bases. Stillwell waits for the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Oklahoma State dodges a bullet. And as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning, 4-2. Cowboys still on top.
Now there's a baseball game with all the sounds, all the action, and the challenge of the real game. Introducing play-by-play talking baseball. The best game next to the real game.
He's up and gone early. It's crazy, but no matter how hot it gets, he works without air conditioning. Because that's how he makes his living. People trust him, and he deserves it. He earns it every day. Of course, you wouldn't have to tell us that.
Your Ream dealer makes Ream the right choice. See the yellow pages for the name of your nearest Ream dealer.
She stood in this line right here.
Since Mary Janelle Johnson won $250,000 instantly playing the game Monopoly at McDonald's last year, everyone's been trying to follow in her footsteps.
She ordered a McDLT.
McDLT, please.
Oh, I want to...
And this year, there's more to win. Over $50 million in cash and prizes, like $2 million, or one of 500 1988 Cutlass Supremes, and more.
What color was she wearing?
Yes.
Play the game Monopoly at McDonald's.
I won.
Hey.
Now there's a baseball game with all the sounds, all the action, and the challenge of the real game. Introducing play-by-play talking baseball. The best game next to the real game.
4-2 Oklahoma State continues to lead as we play in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Every Monday, Major League Baseball Weekly takes you out to the ballpark for the latest on America's favorite pastime. Meet the athletes and coaches of your favorite teams, relive crucial plays of the week's best games, and stay up to date on the latest breaking news for the world of Major League Baseball. Some of the crowd that are braving 40-degree temperatures. Temperature in the mid-40s is supposedly what it's going to tonight, and now the breeze is picking up again, coming out of left field, blowing back in toward first and right field. You get a look at Ray Ortiz, who leads off here in the 6th. Still looking for his first hit tonight, Jim.
Over 400 on the year. Not 400 hits, but a 400 average. Hit 369 last year, 18 home runs. Last big factor in their team going to the College World Series. They came up a game short to the Stanford Cardinal.
last couple of weeks. He has, as his coach said earlier today, really been on a tear. Ground ball right up the middle, base hit. Ortiz with his first hit of the night. And Oklahoma State, who has scored every time that they have gotten the leadoff man tonight, has the leadoff batter on first as Castillo steps in.
That'll get the Arkansas bullpen up again. Sebahar and Swope. One of their leading relievers, Bobby Edwards, has had a lot of work lately. Threw over 100 pitches in the weekend series against Texas Tech, then came back and faced a couple hitters on Saturday. Norm DeBryan would like to keep from using him tonight, obviously.
Pitch inside. Swope is a cousin of Pat Hope, who pitches for Oklahoma State, who has been going through some rehab. He was going to throw today, simulated 5 innings that were going to get him to throw before the ball game.
Swope and Hope.
106 pitches now for Oquist. We mentioned 5 innings is as long as he has gone, as Gary Ward giving the signals down to third base. So if he gets an out in this inning, it'll be the longest stint for him this year.
No dingers yet tonight, Ron, but look at those stats.
44 in the last 14 games. Of course, they scored 19 yesterday. 3-0 pitch. Strike called in the outside corner. Ortiz down at first base. Gary Ward is going to come to home plate and visit with Hoboken, the home plate umpire, about that last call. We said outside corner. I think Gary thought it was a little bit high.
Well, first of all, you can't come out like that. I think he's arguing about something else. Shouldn't be able to come out like that and argue a ball strike with a little example of a higher strike zone on the big league level this year, but should not be able to come down and argue like Gary Ward did with the home plate umpire on a called strike. Automatic ejection in the big leagues.
3-1 the count, nobody out. Strike called outside corner. Mike Oquist, 30 2/3 innings so far this season. Swung on, ground ball to the shortstop. Only play is to first base, and he gets him.
Well, Rod Stillwell, like his big brother Kurt, he can pick it. Kurt on the big league level. Good pitch from Oquist down out of the strike zone. Look at that ball take a side hop. Stillwell stays right with you. See how he had his glove down? The glove down and then comes up. That's what you try to teach infielders. Keep the body and the glove down, and it's much easier to come up. See, had he had the glove run about knee high and then tried to go down after that bad hop. See John Sebahar trot in from the bullpen.
So John Sebahar comes on in relief for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Let's take a break. 4-2, Oklahoma State leads.
Son, I figured when you were old enough, I'd talk to you about drugs. I tell you, they're nothing but poison. I tell you to stay away from the garbage that pushes that junk. Only I never figured that I ought to be telling that to a 13-year-old.
If you don't teach your kids to say no to drugs, it's as good as saying yes.
Now, on that play, if Rod Stillwell had the glove about knee-high and not kept it down, there's no way he comes up with that ball. Well, see, the ball right off the bat has some funny spin on it. See where his glove is in position to come up. Good concentration. Look the ball into his glove. Off-balance throw, right on the money. Good play.
So the runner moves down to second base as you get a good look at the little shortstop, Rod Stillwell. Seabuhart comes in relief. Left-hander. Last time he tossed, which is 2 days ago. 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs. 3 of those were earned. 6 walks and 3 strikeouts. And you see the numbers on him for the year.
As soon as I walked into the park tonight, Ron, John Seabuhart called at me. He said, "Look at my cap." He had his cap tilted way on the side because he knows he's one of the left-handers I always talk about. We all wear our cap a little bit different. You know, team pictures, they'll say, "Hey, get your cap on straight." Left-handers will say, "We got it on straight." Well, you get a head-on shot there sometime with John. We'll show you how left-handers just have that cap a little bit cockeyed. Kind of angle off toward the third base bag just a little bit. When he's got a good arm. He was their ace last year, leading them into the College World Series. Had a record of 11-2. There's Norm DeBrine. Lineup card. Kind of disappointed. They played Oklahoma State a very tough ball game earlier in the year. Randy Bob tied it in the 9th with a homer and then lost it in the bottom of the 9th with an error.
First pitch for the left-hander is a strike called. So Oquist goes 5 1/3. Base runner at second base is Ortiz, who led it off with a single and moved down to the fielder's choice. Swung on, popped up to the left side. Alexander retreating, now coming back in, and he's got it for the out. So there are 2 men down at the bottom of the 6th. And that brings up Burnitz, the freshman out of Conroe, Texas. Now we got a pinch hitter for Oklahoma State as Mitch Simons, another freshman.
Here's one of the young freshmen we talked about that Gary Ward has been starting at second base. And of course, with the left-hander pitching tonight, he had Burnitz in to start the ball game. Or whether with the right-hander pitching. Now with a left-hander, he'll switch around. I think that's why he made that lineup change earlier tonight with Adam Smith in there. Gary Ward will platoon 3 or 4 of his players quite regularly against left and right-hand pitching.
Ball just missed to the outside corner. Another part of the fine stable of youngsters that Gary Ward has here at Stillwater, out of Midwest City, not too far from home. Low and outside. Played both as shortstop and second in high school. So Seabuhart finds himself behind 3-0 in the count. 2 men down, bottom of the 6th inning, 4-2, Oklahoma State on top. Swung on, and he pops him up. Behind the plate, Printers with the mask off, and it's up on the screen. Can't get to it.
Boy, not very often you see a pinch hitter come into the ball game, not a power hitter, Simons, and get the green light, 3-0. Gary Ward let him swing away. I guess his thinking was, hey, I sent him up there to pinch hit to knock in a run. I'm going to let him have a swing. He's got the left-hand hitter Cervantes in the on-deck circle.
We talked about the the latitude that having a guy like Simons has given Ward this year. He puts him at second base, and then they move Bean Blossom to the outfield. Change up low and in the dirt, ball 4. So Seebuhar puts Simons on with a walk. And now Oklahoma State with runners at first and second, 2 men out.
And not a bad walk for Seebuhar right there, because he knows Cervantes is in the on-deck circle. He's one left-hand hitter that Gary Ward has stayed with, even against left-hand pitching. So he was not going to give Simons a pitch to hit there on 3-1.
Cervantes looks at the ball outside. You know, all 4 runs that Oklahoma State has scored tonight, they have gotten the leadoff batter on, and plus the fact they have scored with 2 outs in the inning.
Seebuhar is one of the pitchers when Norm DeBrine talked about his pitching staff and their inability to throw strikes. In 47 innings this year, Seebuhar has walked 39 hitters. His record is 4-1, but his ERA a very high 6.51.
I remember watching him last year, Jim. Boy, he was really untouchable, particularly the Southwest Conference playoffs. They just could not get a bat on the baseball. 2-0 the count. Cervantes at the plate. Strike called. Simons at first base. Ortiz not at second. The Cowboys trying to extend this 2-run lead. Get a good look at the base runners. 2-1 pitch, swung out and missed.
Good breaking ball right there. See, when John Seebuhar can get that curveball over to go with that live fastball. And there you get a look at it. He was drafted also last year, along with, mentioned his teammate Jimmy Kramer's elected not to sign. He was drafted by the Reds as well as Kramer's.
2-2 the count with 2 men out, bottom of the 6th. Swung on into left field. Eklund moves back a couple of steps. He's got it. And the Razorbacks are out of the 6th inning. So let's take a break. 4-2, Oklahoma State on top. Pose, Bob, and Eklund to the plate. Coming up.
Nature can be devastating. The wood on your home needs protection. A water sealer waterproofs. Olympic Clear Wood Preservative does too. And Olympic gives you linseed oil that strengthens wood fibers. And additives to resist mildew. And preservatives to resist rot. Water sealers fade by comparison. Olympic, protecting wood for over half a century.
Buy Olympic Clear Wood Preservative through April 30th and get a $1.50 rebate from Olympic.
Did you know that over 80 million people leave home every year? And they stay with Best Western.
I always look for the Best Western sign wherever I travel.
To me, that sign means clean, comfortable rooms at a fair price.
We always head for Best Western.
To us, that sign means value.
So, for the right place to stay at the right price on your next trip, join the 80 million people a year who stay with us.
1-800-528-1234. Best Western. 1-800-528.
Take a look inside the exciting and glamorous world of thoroughbred racing. Interviews with owners and jockeys. Highlights of key races. Thoroughbred Digest. Wednesday afternoons on ESPN.
Top of the 7th, 4-2, Oklahoma State on top. Jimmy, I talked about the latitude that Gary Ward has been given with the addition of Simons, the young freshman. And the new left fielder, not new in the ball game, but Bean Blossom, moves from second base out to left field, and Simons will take over that spot at second. Youngster out of Midwest City. Midwest City, of course, just outside of Oklahoma City.
Well, after that 2-run fourth, Kafuri has settled down. Going to take Gary Ward's team into the 7th inning here. He's retired 8 of the last 10 that he's faced. Just about the time it looked like he was losing command of things, he's right back on target.
Came out of the 6th inning very strong with 2 men on base and struck out Stillwell. Bouncing ball up the middle. Simons can't get to it. Base hit Arkansas. And Pose at first base to open up the 7th inning with a single. You know, make no mistake. Oklahoma State comes in here ranked number 1. Arkansas in the top 25. But they were a ball club as described when we came in here today talking with the coaches and the sports information people. A ball club looking for confidence. It's a very capable baseball team. Many of the same faces that took them last year to the College World Series in Omaha.
They were a top 10 team preseason ranking.
Strike called and Randy Bob. He was hit by a pitch back in the 1st and sacrificed in the 3rd and then grounded out to 3rd base. 3rd to 1st. That was back in the 5th inning.
And they're getting kind of used to making that trip to Omaha like the college teams love to do. That's what they play for, to go to that College World Series. They know they've got to turn things around if they're going to get there this year.
And we've seen some great-looking teams this year on ESPN.
Talked about that freshman Mitch Simons. Gary Ward, as he's made a strong statement about Jeremy Burnett, said Simons probably the best second baseman he will ever have had here at Oklahoma State by the time his career is over with.
Breaking ball misses 1 and 2. Of course, we mentioned that lineup coming up Sunday. Mississippi State and LSU. LSU has won 8 games in a row. Saw A&M against Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago. They're a fine-looking ball club. Texas and Cliff Gustafson always in the hunt someplace. Miami earlier this year.
Stanford and Fresno State.
Yep. Ball high. Evens it up at 2 and 2. Makes you really look forward to the regionals before the advancement of the Final 8 up to Omaha, Nebraska, you know.
Well, that's where the real pressure is. Almost like in the big league level, the real pressure is in the playoffs, and the real pressure for these kids is those regional games.
Swung on, reached out and got it. Base hit into center field. Jim, I said he reached out and got it. He took the pitch. And I think the center fielder, Travis Law, was coming in very quickly, but I'm not sure the runner at first base really had an indication of whether Law was going to be able to get there or not.
So there are two runs down, nobody out. And if you're the runner at first base, obviously you want to make sure the ball is in there. All right, now you know it's dropped, and you go on to second base. You don't want to go too far and commit yourself to get doubled off first.
Troy Eklund to the plate with the Razorbacks at first and at second. Nobody out as we play in the top half of the 7th inning. 4-2. Oklahoma State on top. Razorbacks have out hit the Cowboys tonight. 7-5. Ron DeBryan looking back down at that lineup card. Interesting numbers right there, particularly to only have 2 runs in the ball game. You know,
had a little trouble getting that key hit. That's why Kafuri is still in the ball game. He has fallen behind hitters. He's given up the 7 hits, but he's been very effective in clutch situations right up till now.
Swung on, lined up the middle. Law on the run, back to the plate, over his head and off the wall. Heading toward home is Pose. He will score. Right behind him is Bob as the throw comes in. And now they're going to hold up Bob at third base. Eklund with a stand-up double. And Jim, I'm not sure that Law had a real good beat on that, but I think he lost it for a moment.
Wow, that ball really took off. That ball was hit like a shot. It kind of turned him around out there. We're going to get an argument right here from Gary Ward. See, Randy Bob knew immediately the ball was in there. He took off from first base. Scott Pose, the runner on second base, held up just briefly. We see Ward arguing right there with a home plate umpire. And I don't know what he'd be arguing about. I think for a minute it looked like Bob maybe was about to overrun Pose at second base, but he held up in time and went back to third base.
Well, all this is going on as the argument continues. The relief pitcher comes trotting on, and who do we have here? I believe Carl Myers, who we mentioned a while ago, is going to come in to take over for Tom Kafuri. And speaking of Fury, Gary Ward still very upset as he argues with the home plate umpire.
You see Travis Law going, you see him get turned around. That ball was hit hard by Troy Eklund. It had some slicing spin to it that turned Law around. Now, Pose is already headed for home. He scores easily. Bob is about a third of the way right there, about a third of the way around. Now you see what he's talking about. Now you see what he's talking about right there. The third base coach cannot give assistance to the runner on third. We had a situation in the big leagues a couple of years ago where Chuck Hiller, the third base coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, actually put his hands on the runner and tried to assist the runner at third. That's a no-no once you touch. But see, we can't really tell from that angle whether he has actually touched it. But Ward, of course, contends that third base coach Doug Clark did touch Randy Bob and wanted the interference
from that angle because of the depth. So Carl Myers comes on to pitch. Kafuri heads to the dugout after having pitched 6 innings. We'll get the line on him. We got a 4-3 ball game, and the Razorbacks have runners at second and at third. So let's take a break as the warm-up continues with Myers. It's a 1-run game. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
What kinds of investments can you make at Schwab? Ask a Schwab customer.
I advise my clients to keep a diversified portfolio. At Schwab, you can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, even CDs. And you can move between Schwab investments with one phone call. My advice? Diversify the easy way at Schwab.
For a free booklet, call 800-423-3100. That's 800-423-3100.
Well, Ron, Carl Myers obviously coming into this ball game for one purpose. He's been in 9 ball games and only pitched 8 2/3 innings. And with the left-hander Kramers at the plate, I think Gary Ward's strategy with nobody out right here is let's bring the young lefty in to face Kramers. And then with the right-handers DeAlexander and Kelly Zane, I think we'll see him switch to a right-hand reliever.
Numbers on Kramers tonight: singled in the first inning, then flied out in the third, and grounded out back in the fifth. So 1 base hit tonight. Arkansas has cut it to within 1. Nobody out here in the 7th inning. Pitch is inside. Base runners. The man at third, Randy Bob. Down at second is Eklund, who delivered on that double just a moment ago. Line drive, base hit. 2 runs will score, and Arkansas will go back into the lead. As Bob comes across and Eklund from second, and we get a 5-4 ball game.
Good hitting right there by Jim Kramers. He knows that Myers has come in to face him. He's going to get a breaking ball in all probability. Right now we're going to look at Benny Castillo. Look at this play. He has to pivot on the run, make an off-balance throw, and that play right there kept Kramers from advancing to second base. But Kramers, expecting the breaking ball off Myers, did a good job of hanging in there. Hit that ball like a shot right past Cervantes.
Tom Holliday, who's done such a fine job here at Oklahoma State with the pitchers coming out, and that will be it for Myers. So let's take a break. 5-4. The Razorbacks have gone on top. We'll be right back.
If
If you think physical fitness can help you get ahead in business, subscribe to the Wall Street Journal and see what mental fitness can do.
Call 800-228-1900 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-228-1900 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Sunday, April the 17th, LSU and Mississippi State. That's the next game coming up here on ESPN. And as we mentioned just a while ago, Skip Bertman's LSU Tigers with 8 straight. And of course that game will be played in Starkville, Mississippi, as these two clubs battle in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, Malicki, like Carl Myers, who preceded him, has not pitched a lot of innings this year. He's stuck with the only loss that the Cowboys have, 31-1 coming into tonight's ball game. He's worked 7 2/3 innings, struck out 9, but he's walked 6 and given up 6 runs, including a home run. So Gary Ward and pitching coach Tom Holliday trying to piece it together here with the bullpen to get through this 7th inning.
Mississippi State and LSU, those two clubs are 1-2 in the Southeastern Conference. Numbers on Kafuri: 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, all are earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he hit 2 batters. So Greg D. Alexander will be stepping up to the plate as Malicki takes his warm-up pitches. And again, to mention, saw this youngster over at Texas A&M when Oklahoma State was over there. Did a good job late in relief.
He sure did. He's got a good fastball, and Gary Ward, he's inconsistent with the curveball yet, but both Ward and Holliday say he has a good breaking ball. He just has not shown good command of it. And that was one of those games where we talk about piecing it together with the bullpen. It appeared that Texas A&M might have had that one won, and Travis Law came up with a big 3-run homer in the top of the 10th inning to beat Texas A&M.
So if you just joined us, let's recap it for you. Oklahoma State jumped in front, scoring 1 in the first. Then Arkansas came back and went on top 2-1 in the 4th. Cowboys got 3 of their own in the bottom of the 4th. And now the Razorbacks have tallied 3 here in the top of the 7th inning, as leading off was Pose with a single, then a single by Randy Bob, and then a 2 RBI double by Eklund. Cut the score to tied it at 4-4. And then Arkansas went in front as Kramer's singled. He is the man at first base there. Eklund came home, and that's how we stand right now. 5-4 with the Razorbacks on the lead at the moment. And nobody out in the 7th. Swung on. Lazy pop fly. Ferris is out, and now the left fielder comes in, and it's going to be Bean Blossom who makes the catch. And Jim, if you're standing on the mound, you've done it a million times. That's when the butterflies really start to jump around when you see 2 guys like that, and at the last moment there appears to be a little bit of indecision on who's going to take it.
Well, you got to have confidence in the fact that Brad Bean Blossom gone into late. You can see his lips move right there. You can see him talking to Monty Ferris. See, the infielder goes out, and he's going to go after the ball until he hears something. And then when he hears Bean Blossom say, "I got it," he peels off and gets out of the way.
Kelly Zane at the plate.
Got to have good. Excuse me, Ron. Got to have good communication on that play. I think one of the more serious injuries years ago between Leon Wagner and Larry Brown of the Cleveland Indians just shattered Brown's jaw, put him out of action for a long time.
Malecki doing a good job of getting in front of Kelly Zane. Zane flied out in the 2nd, then singled in the 4th, and grounded out in the 6th. 1 for 3. Ooh, hit him right in the head. Zane is down. You could hear the cracking sound, and I say cracking sound. I shouldn't use that, but it did hit him on that protective headgear.
Hey, you going? Oh, he ain't out.
That's sounded for a minute like it might have even hit the end of the aluminum bat. And, of course, the importance of the double flap there, the helmet. The pitch from Malicki sailed high and inside.
And, of course, you see a very smart thing here is the veteran Ventura comes in from third base and is trying to console his young pitcher. Nobody wants that to happen.
Well, a big relief right there as you see Kelly Zane trot down to first base. Sure points up the importance of that protective skull cap. Let's get a look at it. Wow,
it just caught him right above the ear.
Couldn't have hit him any more flush.
No. But Jimmy, see, he started to get up and he went back down, and it's almost like a fighter who's stunned for a moment. But he appears to be just fine right now. And obviously, if he were not, Norm O'Brien would not allow him to go down to first base.
Well, key thing right there for Kelly Zane is his next at-bat against a right-hand pitcher. That'll kind of tell you whether that pitch had any kind of an effect on him.
You can see the back of number 7, Jimmy Kramer's down at second base. And, of course, Zane down at first after being hit with a pitch. Arkansas leading by 1, top of the 7th, still only 1 out.
And Norm O'Brien certainly wants to try to add some runs to this 5-4 lead. This is the 33rd ball game of the year for Oklahoma State. They have scored less than 10 runs only 9 times.
Swung on, ground ball to the shortstop, and he bobbles it. Parrish can't get the handle, and it's going to be an error on the shortstop, and Arkansas will have the bases loaded.
Well, and that's really crucial right there because they're obviously an inning-ending double play. Jim Calhoun, the pinch hitter, hit a tailor-made double play to Monty Ferris. And his defense has been outstanding this season, but that one right there got away from him. Throws there is too late, and the Razorbacks have the bases loaded, just 1 out, and Don Thomas at the plate. Tough man to double. He has good speed.
So Kramer's heads down to third base. Zane to second on the error, and Calhoun down at first. 1 down, top of the 7th. Bunt. Fielded by the catcher, and the tag made, and he's out. Kramer's tried to avoid the tag, but it's a nice play by Adam Smith. And there are 2 down.
I know Norm O'Brien likes to squeeze right there with Don Thomas, but that's with the bases loaded in an RBI situation to kind of break this game open. That's playing it pretty close to the vest in the 7th inning against a team that's more apt to score double figures. You see Thomas drag the ball. He wanted to get it farther out toward the pitcher, of course. Right there, Adam Smith has an easy tag on Kramer's.
So there are 2 down. The runners move up. So Arkansas now with base runners at second and at third. And Trainer is going to be the pinch hitter.
Kendall Trainer
handles both the place kicking and the punting for the University of Arkansas football team.
And he would probably be in the lineup tonight. He's been bothered by a rib injury. Swinging the bat kind of gingerly up there just outside the batter's box. You can tell by the way he's taking his practice swings.
Fredonia, Kansas is where he's out of. You can see the numbers on him. 2 men out, top of the 7th. Arkansas leading 5-4. The throw back to first, and he just about threw it away. Oh, my goodness. Malecki was just going to make that casual toss over the first base, and it was a mite too casual, or very close to it anyway.
A poor percentage play right there. I mean, I'm certain he's thinking with Kendall Trainer at the plate, I would love to have a pickoff at first base. But Don Thomas, is, with the bases loaded, is not going to take a very long lead over there, and it was a low percentage play.
Swung on, foul ball. Zane was hit by the pitch just a moment ago. We're going to play it back for you. We won't talk. Listen as the ball comes off that protective headgear. Oh, we don't play that, obviously, to be gory, but just the fact that, as you pointed out, the protective headgear, and thank goodness they wear them. And what kind of job it does, because the youngster is not only up, but he's on base, and, you know, he is just fine. 0-2 the count. Trainer, the 9th Arkansas Razorback to bat here in the 7th inning. 5-4. Arkansas has tallied 3. 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Foul back.
Talk about Kendall Trainer not being in the lineup, Ron, because of that rib injury. Get a look at this swing right here. You can tell that he's just kind of feeling for the ball. Norm DeBryan hoping that he could just put the ball in play. Look how he goes after this pitch right there. See that arm come off the bat? He can't really take the aggressive swing at it that he was taking earlier in the year.
0-2 pitch. Tries to entice him with a off-speed curveball. It all started with a single by leadoff batter Scott Pose, and Randy Bobb backed him up with a single. Did a double by Troy Eklund. Swung on, and he pops it up to the right side. That's going to be out of play. Then Krimmers with a single. Then what has been the most surprising, the strangest situation so far is when, after Zane was hit, when Arkansas, with the bases loaded, went for the squeeze with only one man down.
Yeah, a tight ball game like this with a few innings to play yet. That was a little surprising.
Here's the pitch, curveball, strike 3. He got him. So Malecki out of harm's way as the bases were filled with Arkansas Razorbacks, but not before the Hogs came up with 3. It's 5-4. Arkansas on top. We'll be right back.
Turnpike Subaru's 5th anniversary sale is going on right now, delivering Subaru's great quality at affordable prices. The exciting 1988 Subaru Justy with air and a special sport package for only $59.95 delivered. Also at Turnpike Subaru, take advantage of the 20th anniversary 4-door sedan with air for only $93.90 delivered. Turnpike Subaru delivers quality and affordable prices at the Turner Turnpike Tollgate on Highway 66.
We know what you mean at Hesselbein.
When you're in the market for tires, there's something you should know. Hesselbein Tire has more tires for more kinds of vehicles than any other tire dealer around. And Hesselbein guarantees the best price in town. Just bring in a local retail ad from the last 30 days, and Hesselbein will beat their price on any comparable tire. You just can't beat Hesselbein for price, selection, and confidence.
We know what you mean when you're talking tires at Hesselbein.
5-4, Arkansas on top. Ron Frankel along with Jim Cott from Stillwater, Oklahoma. A very breezy and cool evening, but it has not kept the faithful here in Cowboy country from coming out and watching their #1 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys tonight. Sebuhar about to commence his 2nd inning of pitching. We have a defensive change for the Arkansas Razorbacks. There he is, David Beaver. Junior transfer out of Rimson, Iowa. Played at West Ark Junior College. Also, the small amount that he's played, he has swung the bat pretty well, too, hasn't he, Jim?
Well, he has 7 out of 18 the time he's been hitting .389 the time he's been out there. Doesn't have the defensive skills that Rod Stillwell does, but in that particular situation, Norm DeBryan said, I'm sending Trainer up there to see if I can break this thing open. It didn't work.
Swung on, ground ball to the left side. The Alexander over to first, and Law is out.
Well, and it's bottom of the 7th. The Cowboys still have a couple of cracks at him, but that's a big out because Travis Law, when he gets on base as he did in the 1st inning and scored a run, anytime that leadoff hitter with good speed gets on, it kind of sets the table for your whole ball club. So that That leading out in this inning is a big one for Siebehar.
Particularly when it's a guy like Travis Law who has the kind of mobility that he does. Bean Blossom still looking for his first hit tonight. He's flied out 3 different times. Tough pitch in the outside corner from the southpaw. Of course, this thing is a long way from being over, but I mentioned a while ago that Norton Brown and his ball club came in here to Stillwater, Jim, right back to Siebehar. One hopper, and I mean very quickly. He guns it over to first base, and there are 2 down. But the point that I was going to make is that Norton Brown and his ball club came in here talking about looking for confidence. Boy, how big would this be tonight if they could come up with a victory in Stillwater?
Yeah, even though this is a non-conference game, that could set them up. That could raise their confidence level, as you have mentioned, and get them going, because they feel of the 12 games they have left to play in the conference, they've got to win at least 10 of them to finish third or get a spot in a regional tournament. So this would be a big boost for them.
Ventura steps in. Ventura finds a way to get on base, doesn't he? Whether it's base hit or walk or what have you. But every time you look up, the young man is out there on the base path. He does not spend a lot of time during the off inning sitting down in the dugout. Got a couple of base hits in this one tonight. Walked his last time up in the 5th inning. Strike called.
Well, you talk about getting on base. His on-base average for the year is 500. Talk about on-base average. Monty Ferris is almost 600. He's up there at 587. Walked 30 times and got 49 hits.
You're talking about guys that are number 3 and number 4 in the order. 0-2 pitch as Siebehar is out in front. Strike 3 called. So Siebehar comes in and puts the Cowboys down 1-2-3 in the 7th inning. And look at the reaction as Siebehar goes to the bench. There you see it at the end of 7. It's the Arkansas Razorbacks 5 and Oklahoma State 4. Pose, Bob, and Eklund. Same group that opened it up in the 7th inning. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
I gotta eat. There's something over there. Can't get anywhere. Just down the road away. Anytime, any day. It's what's happening next. It's where best meets west. You gotta cross it, jump it, bust it, bump it. Gotta cross it, jump it, bust it, bump it. Like a well at your order.
I'm starved.
Make a run for the border. And you can bet it's right when you get through. Ooh, there's a few that always fits right in your hand. 'Cause you're a bud man, and this bud's for you. Oh, you do. This bud's for you.
In every town in America, there's always one place that does a little bit better job of fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts.
Well, spring is here, and to make sure your car takes the change of seasons in perfect stride, stop by your Napa Auto Care Center now for our spring specials. Look for the sign of Quality Car Care. Napa.
Now, anytime, Ron, you can freeze a hitter like Robin Ventura with this kind of a curveball, you know you got a good curveball. See him kind of lean back a little bit. See what Siebehar thinks about it. Yeah. And the whole Arkansas bench going to celebrate that. A big inning for John Siebehar.
That is called momentum at the moment. Pose, who led off the 7th inning as Arkansas sent all 9 batters to the plate. Takes a ball. Interesting numbers right there. Oklahoma State been trailing after 7 innings.
Only time they've been behind. Well, for those fans that joined us late, I'll tell you about that very unusual statistic that we have going here tonight. The Cowboys won the first 8, then lost a game. Now they're first 7. Now they've won 24 in a row. Give them a record of 31-1. Last year, they did the identical thing. They won 7, lost the 8, won 24 in a row, and lost the next game on what date? April 11. And that's when we're playing right now. A lot of things going against them if you believe in superstition. Gary Ward believes in good hitting.
I started to say, I believe in good hitting and pitching more than I believe in superstition. But if this happens tonight, as you see, strike 2 called, I'm going to think, how very strange. There we go, twilight zone.
Well, these things happen. Texas A&M has been shut out, I think, in the 32nd or 33rd game of the previous 2 seasons. Identical games.
2-2 pitch, swung on. Fouled off to the left. Post flied out in the first, then singled in the third, and grounded out in the 4th inning. Then singled in the 7th, and it was his single that started everything off, and he wound up coming across and scoring and cutting the Oklahoma State lead to 4-3. Right now looking at Malicki with a 2-2 count, and he is hit on the ankle. Boy, what is that? 3 hit batsmen by Oklahoma State pitchers tonight.
Kafuri hit 2 with the split finger. We talked about Malicki has a good curveball, but he doesn't have consistent control of it. And here's an example. This is way out of the strike zone, down and in. Catches Pose right in the foot.
Right on the little toe in that right foot. So Arkansas, just like the 7th inning, gets the leadoff batter on in the 8th. Razorbacks leading 5-4.
Well, we said earlier, Ron, that Norm DeBrine does not often bunt with Randy Bob. But here again is another situation if he wants to try to add a run. Let's see what he does.
He is swinging as they had the hit and run on. Bob did execute a nice sacrifice back in the 3rd. As we said, Arkansas with the little play on here. They had the runner going.
See if he looks in. Now, most of the time, if it's a hit and run, the runner will look to pick up the ball. Now, either he made a mistake, bad base running, or that was a straight steal. If it's a hit and run, you got to look in and pick up the ball.
Off the fist. Double play. Mitch Simons picked off the line drive. Goes back to Cervantes. And Oklahoma State, all of a sudden, instead of looking at the leadoff runner on, gets a double play.
Now, one thing the coach will tell you as soon as you get over there, don't get doubled up on a line drive. Just a reaction play. Pose didn't react quite quickly enough. The ball was one of those looping, sinking line drives, Randy Bob, not hit like a shot. And Pose got caught leaning the wrong way.
35th double play by Oklahoma State this year. And another play in this ball game, but you have to put a big asterisk by, Jim. Four batters hit by pitches tonight. Fly ball to center. Travis Law moving over to draw a bead, and he's got it. So Eklund is out, flying out to center field. And we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Our score remains the Arkansas Razorbacks 5-4 on 9 hits. We'll be right back.
I'm Jim Furman, inviting you to join us at Jim Furman Acura as we celebrate our 2nd anniversary. The party lasts till the end of April. The fun begins when you get behind the wheel of the Integra. Take an unforgettable test drive in the Integra and take advantage of our special anniversary offer. Every new Integra comes equipped with free air conditioning, a savings of over $1,000. Experts and consumers agree the Integra is a revolutionary driving experience. Find out what all the excitement's about during the anniversary celebration at Jim Furman Acura.
I can't wait to get my Tribune. It's a fresh point of view. It's everything that's tough, so where to go and what to do.
some of the faithful here at Alley Reynolds Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And you notice that everybody's donning at least a jacket, and some of those folks are holding their blankets as well. Started off in the 50s tonight. Temperature is supposed to go into the 40s. The wind was dropping off to only 15 miles an hour. Jim, it had been gusting up to 25 today.
And it's been a well-played ball game despite the cool weather. Guys out on the field, I'm sure they were remarking before the game, the Oklahoma State players, that this is much cooler. It's been in the 80s here lately, but it's been a good baseball game despite the cool weather.
Right now, this ball game has just gone over 3 hours, and the score that we see on the scoreboard as Ferris steps in looking for his first hit tonight is the same score but reversed when these two teams met earlier this year up in Bossier City, Louisiana. John Seabuhar working in his third inning in relief. In the 7th, he put the Cowboys down in order. He got Law, Bean Blossom, and Ventura. Now he's got Ferris, Ortiz, and Castillo in this inning. Seabuhar with a strike in the outside corner. The Parsons didn't like that call at all.
And Ferris didn't like the call. Borderline, knee-high outside corner. If this one's close, once again, Monty Ferris has had some aggressive swings tonight.
2-1 pitch, swung on. It's even at 2-2.
That's just a good pitcher's pitch right there. As we said, Ferris has had some good swings at Oquist earlier in the ball game. And on a 2-1 pitch, he's geared for the fastball. Seabuhar threw him a good changeup, had him way out front.
2-2 the count on the leadoff man, Monty Ferris, here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Arkansas leading by 1, 5-4. Swung on, foul ball, just to the left of third. You know, Jim was just thinking tonight as I was looking around, college baseball has taken off so in recent years. And one of the reasons, the games during regular season and also the College World Series here on ESPN. Tonight, actually a very cold night for baseball. Earlier this year in Austin, the weather turned cold, and still fans come out with the numbers to see him play. And we've seen some great exhibitions this year. Ball inside, count goes full.
More and more outstanding programs every year. And not just for the fans, but the players as well. Coming out of high school now, you can look at a program and say, hey, I can play 70, 75 games a year. Years ago, you played maybe 15-game schedules at the most.
3-2 pitch, swung on, and he got him. Ferris goes down swinging. So when you consider Seabuhar, the last 4 folks that he has faced, in Law, he got him to ground out. Then Bean Blossom, a one-hopper hot drive right back to the pitcher Seabuhar, and then Ventura called out on strikes, and now Ferris out swinging.
So well, that's quality pitch right there. 3-2 once again. Get behind the hitter. If you can get your off-speed pitches over, that's pitching. You got him with a changeup.
Wow. Hit by the pitch, and that sound that you heard just as we replayed a while ago, after Zane had gone down, he is hit in the headgear.
Telling you, these guys sound like they're wearing concrete helmets. I mean, I've never heard.
I'm glad they are
like
though,
that coming off the.
Boy,
that's a breaking ball. The only consolation to Ortiz is that it's a breaking ball, but Gary Ward is going to take no chances. He'll take him out of the ball game for a pinch runner and send in Mick Ward, who is a good defensive outfielder and has good speed. He'll go in to run for Ortiz and represents the tying run.
So the situation, if you joined us late, we're playing 1 out, bottom half of the 8th inning. Arkansas leading 5-4, and the Cowboys with the tying run at first base. Pitch down into the dirt, and Kramer's, boy, he has done a fine job tonight.
You know what? The game of baseball around there are so many plays. We talk about the statistics and the numbers and the percentages. So many plays that happen in a ball game that you don't see in the box score, and that's one of them right there. See, Jim Kramers gets over, blocks that ball, keeps the double play in order. If the Razorbacks win this by 1 run, that's a big play.
Strike called. Oklahoma State scored 1 in the first. Then Arkansas came back with 2 in the fourth to go in front 2-1. Cowboys tallied 3 in the bottom of the fourth. And then it was a 3-run 7th inning that put the Razorbacks back on top, 5-4. Hits in the ball game, Arkansas 9 and the Cowboys 5. Castillo with a 2-1 count. Seibehar checks the runner at first base. Inside, and it's 3-1. Mick Ward, not necessarily a great threat, but he's 3 of 4.
Well, he has good speed. Castillo's a wild swinger. I doubt that Ward would send him right here.
3-1 pitch, strike called. Couple of pitchers. That's Edwards on the left. Swoop is on the right.
Right here, however, I think he will be running.
3-2 pitch, and he goes back to first.
Ward has been... Seibehar has had Ward diving back into the bag a couple times, or leaning back into the bag, even when he's delivered to home, which tells you he's got a very deceptive motion. Base runner cannot pick up whether he's going to first or home.
The 3-2 pitch, and he got him swinging. Castillo goes down swinging, so 2 men down, and that will bring Adam Smith to the plate.
Well, and Gary Ward, as you're looking at right there, did not send Mick Ward. You see the high fastball from Seibehar. Right by Castillo. And he's leading the team in strikeouts. He's struck out 22 times coming into tonight's ball game. So now that's up to 24, and that's probably one of the reasons he did not send Ward.
High and inside. Going again, pose right out near the warning track in right field. Seibehar with a changeup. That will ride high.
Smith was the first batter Seibehar faced when he came in the 6th inning. And Smith, primarily a pull hitter, popped up to third base.
2-0 pitch swung on. He got it all, but it's going to be well fouled.
I'll say he's a pull hitter.
You could put a unit on Norm O'Brien's heart right now. I have a feeling that the rate is up just a little bit when he saw that. Of course, anybody in this Oklahoma State lineup can do that to you in a hurry. 5-4. Arkansas leads 2 out, bottom of the 8th. Change up. Inside.
Yeah, even though it's left-hand hitter versus left-hand pitcher right here, Adam Smith just showed you how he can pull a fastball. And that's what he's looking for. He's got one thing in mind right here. 3-1 fastball, get the barrel of the bat out in front.
3-1 delivery. He held up on it. Runners at first and second as Smith trots down to first base.
Well, you see Seibehar had a little respect for him, too. He went to the curveball.
So Kramers goes out to the mound, and he'll have a visit from the dugout. Boy, you look at the situation. Strike out Ferris, strike out Castillo, or Ortiz, or rather, Ortiz was hit by the pitch, and Mick Ward came into pinch run for him, and now Adam Smith has walked. So not by way of base hit, but yet a situation of jeopardy for Arkansas with 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, Seibehar has started a ball game in the weekend series, so he's thrown a lot of pitches. He pitched a 7-inning complete game. Bobby Edwards, who I think DeBrine would like to bring in right now, has pitched more than he would have liked to have used him. And if he can get down to save him for just an out or two.
Mitch Simons, the young freshman from Midwest City, Oklahoma, who started the turning of the double play and the catching of the line drive last inning, steps in, strike called, and we would remind you again, the fact that we mentioned a couple of innings ago that Oklahoma State has scored all 4 of their runs in both the first and the fourth with 2 men out. That's when their rallies have come. Runners at first and second, 2 men out. Simons at the plate, and Seabuhar is ready. Swung out and missed, and Jimmy, he's well in front here.
Well, he overmatched Simons with that fastball right there. You could see the respect he had for the senior, Adam Smith, who's been a productive hitter. But Mitch Simons, the freshman, swings right over that fastball.
0-2 pitch. Ooh, can't believe he took it. Up just a little bit, and it's 1-2.
John Seabuhar is deceptive in that it doesn't appear when you look at his motion that he's really throwing that hard. But he has the big breaking curveball, and at 6'4", well over 200 pounds. With that easy motion, that ball explodes up there.
Timeout is called. Simon steps out.
I can see the difference in him from last year in Omaha. He had a full season under his belt. He was 11-2, and one thing we noticed in the College World Series, he did not throw with the same pop in Omaha that Norm DeBrine said he did during the season. But tonight, he's had a live fastball and a good curveball.
Ward at second. Adam Smith at first. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Seabuhar. Ground ball to the left side, and it gets through for the base hit. And they're bringing it home, and the ball has been booted by Eklund. The run will score. He can only go to second, and he overthrows. Tie ball game at 5 apiece. Alexander, who has been so very sure with the glove at third base. In fact, we mentioned off the top of the show that Norm O'Brien said he has given them as good a defensive play as they've had in several years at Arkansas. Has the ball get through, and we're tied at 5.
Well, it was an irregular hop. Ball had a lot of topspin. You see it down in the strike zone. Ball had a lot of topspin on it. And Alexander just did not get over there. Took a high hop. But here's a key error right there. Eklund does not pick up the ball. He would have had a shot at the runner at home.
Manny Cervantes steps in.
The ball on Alexander really took a very irregular and high hop. That was not as easy a play as it looked. But, of course, when Eklund bobbled the ball, and defense has been one of the strong suits of this ball club, and it got away from him in the previous game between the two.
Ball 2. And now you wonder if maybe Kramers might not should at least run out to the mound and just talk to Seabuhar for a moment and calm him down a little bit. Oklahoma State with runners at second and third. They have tallied with 2 out again in this inning, and a strike is called. All 5 runs tonight have come with 2 men down. And there are Cowboys at second and also at third. Smith at third. Simons down at second. And Manny Cervantes at the plate. He's still looking for his first hit tonight. Swung on, line drive, it's foul.
Well, he was the hitter that was at the plate in the close ball game that the Cowboys had over at Texas A&M. Worked over the left-hand pitcher, fouled off pitches, eventually drew a very important base on balls, got Travis Law to the plate, and Law delivered with the 3-run homer to win the ball game.
2-2 the count, 2 men out. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Arkansas 5, Oklahoma State 5, and that is fouled out of play again. Boy, and looking at the stat of what we were just talking about, the fact that Oklahoma State scoring and in all their rallies going with 2 outs, it shows you that with this ball club, you can't ever give up with anybody in the lineup or think that you've got them out. Ball just out of the strike zone, and the count will go full.
See, that's the kind of discipline, Ron, that Manny Cervantes has and Gary Ward appreciates. Most left-hand hitters on that big curveball are going to commit, especially with 2 strikes. Look at the way he lays off. Now, that's a tough pitch to lay off for a young left-hand hitter. See, and he knows right now if he can work a base on balls, he's done his job. He can get Travis Law to the plate. Force Norm DeBrine to make a pitching change or otherwise give him a shot at the left-hand pitcher.
Cervantes steps in. 3-2 to count. Ball 4. Law will step to the plate, and he's still looking for his first base hit of the night. Mr. Cott.
Well, he's got Norm DeBrine he started out of the dugout. He's kind of pacing back and forth. I think he'd like to make a move right here.
Swope and Edwards continue to warm up at the Arkansas bullpen. So the situation, and now here comes Norm DeBrine, and it will be the Swope or Edwards coming into the ballgame. Ferris led off the inning, struck out swinging. Then he hit Ortiz. Then he struck out Castillo swinging. Then the walk to Smith. Then the error, and now another walk. And there are 3 Cowboys on every sack on the infield right now. Bases loaded with 2 men out, tied at 5 apiece as we play in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So it looks as though Edwards is going to come in. We'll check for you, but let's take a break right now. Arkansas 5 and the Cowboys 5. We'll be right back.
Monopoly is back at McDonald's, bigger and better than ever. This year, there's over $50 million in prizes.
Hey, a Coca-Cola, McDLT.
Win instantly, or collect the right game pieces and win loads of cash, or maybe a new house.
More like the house.
Or hundreds of Sears shopping sprees. Whoa! Play Monopoly at McDonald's.
This time, it's not just big, it's huge.
Well, there you see the score, 5-5 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Ron, Oklahoma State and Texas A&M were going at it at College Station, and the same hitter came up to the plate. Identical situation. You see the numbers there on Bobby Edwards. Doesn't throw hard, but he's been very effective. Off speed, slider, change of speeds. And Law stepped in and hit the 3-run homer.
Well, every time they meet, 2 good ball clubs that, at least the last time they met, March the 19th, as we alluded to earlier, 5-4. Oklahoma State won that one. Smith with 2 RBIs in that ball game. He has 2 in this one this evening. Robin Ventura, 2 for 4, had a home run. Pugh, the winning pitcher, 6 2/3 innings. So storyline is very much the same. Still, Arkansas has out-hit the Cowboys 9-6 in this one this evening.
Well, it was defense that last game between Arkansas and Oklahoma State. Randy Bob's error. But the last time Travis Law came to the plate a couple of weeks ago, let's look at it. Here we are, College Station. Cervantes had just worked a very tough 3-2 pitch. Got a base on balls. Almost hit it in the freight train back there, Ron. Over the right center field wall. That gave the Cowboys a 5-2 lead. Texas A&M came back with a couple, but it wasn't enough.
Law represents the 7th Oklahoma State batter this inning. Repeating, 2 men out. Bases are loaded, and we're tied at 5. And Law still wants his first base hit. Now, Edwards and Kramers are going to talk. And is he just going over signals, or is he worried about the man at second base?
No, I think most of the time you come into a ball game, or relief pitcher, and all of a sudden you realize there's a man on second base, and you say, wait a minute, we change the sequence of signs with the man on second base. He wants to be sure with Kramers whether we're using the first, the second, the last. Obviously a wild pitcher, a pass ball right here. Very costly. There's the lefty, John Siebehart, who just left the ball game. He did a good job tonight.
Yeah, he did. Honor and encouragement for Bobby Edwards. Strike called. Given the numbers on Law, he did score the first run of the night as he led off the ball game with a walk, then struck out swinging in the third, flied out to right in the fifth, and grounded out short to first in the seventh. Bobby Edwards out of Salt Lake City. Long, lanky fella, 6'4". Set the runners for you. Adam Smith over at third. Simons is at second. And Cervantes at first. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike two.
Boy, Edwards done a good job. We said he's not a hard thrower. If you're a believer in miles per hour, he's not much over 80. But he's got that herky-jerky motion. As you mentioned, he's 6'4". I'm sure it's very difficult for the hitter to pick up the ball, and he's done a good job of changing speeds. 9-1 last year for him.
1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and he got him. So Bobby Edwards comes out of the bullpen and helps the Arkansas Razorbacks out of what could have been disaster. We're tied at 5. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
At American Airlines, we do this over 2,000 times a day. And of the 5 largest domestic airlines, we do it on time more times. American Airlines, the on-time machine.
Run the lights here?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
Tonight's ball game is being brought to you by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. By Video Technology. Play and play talking baseball. The best game next to the real game. And by BVD Underwear. America, do it better. Do it in your BVDs. Well, there you see the line, 5-5 as we head to the top of the ninth. Arkansas with 9 hits and 2 errors, and certainly the error in that last inning, the most costly of the two. And 5-6-1. Some of the faithful here at Stillwater tonight.
Well, enthusiastic Cowboy cheerleaders and Cowboy fans wrapped in blankets, jackets, but they've hung in here. Well ahead of last year's attendance mark here at Oklahoma State. You mentioned earlier a little over 2,000 here at Stillwater.
LSU and Mississippi State, mark that one down, 7 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. The top 2 teams in the Southeastern Conference and both ranked in the ESPN top 10 this week.
Yeah, good weather. They'll have about 7,000 there at Duty Noble Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi.
Kramers 2 for 4 tonight. And boy, swung on, base hit to the right side. Well, I wish I had said it just prior, but I was going to mention, as he picks up his third base hit, the statement you made earlier on, Jim, is so very important, is that what is not in the box score that young man does for you. Boy, defensively tonight, he has done a superb job behind the plate.
And he could play so many different positions. You know, if, with Bobby Edwards pitching as many innings as he did the weekend series with Texas Tech, he went 7 2/3 last Friday and picked up a win. Get down to a crucial situation in the bottom of the ninth, don't be surprised to see Kramers go out to the mound.
Bunt to the right side. Cervantes throws back. Second baseman coverage. Simons has the cover. Score 3-4.
Well, you don't often bunt, Ron, with your leading home run hitter, but right here in the top of the ninth inning, Norm DeBrine says, I'm going to try to get 1 run. And then 3 outs in the ninth inning. So he calls on Greg D. Alexander to lay it down, and he laid it down perfectly, which is another good point. Tom Holliday going out to the mound to talk with Malicki. You don't see many power hitters that are good bunters. They don't get called on to do it very often. Right there, D. Alexander, good technique and good results.
Jim, the way he's been pitching, are they talking situation, or is he simply worried about the situation? Is he seen something with Malicki that he doesn't like?
Well, chances are he could be giving his bullpen a little more time to warm up, or with first base open, he might be talking with Malicki and also catcher Adam Smith about Kelly Zane. Zane's been a clutch hitter for the Razorbacks. He was the MVP in the regional playoffs last year. So right here he might say, hey, let's pitch around this guy and take our chances with Calhoun.
I'd like to remind everybody, don't forget Sports Center. Scores and highlights coming up immediately following our ball game. So Kelly Zane steps in. The on-deck hitter is Calhoun. Arkansas with a runner in scoring position at second base, and that is Kramers.
Jim Kramer's not the only catcher that's blocking balls in the dirt tonight. Adam Smith gets out there and does a good job.
Pitch outside, 2-0.
You can almost tell by those 2 pitches that Tom Holliday said, hey, let's just take 4 shots at the outside corner on this guy. That can be dangerous sometimes as a pitcher. Instead of just going ahead and walking the hitter, when you try to make that perfect pitch, you end up goosing the ball in there and you get it in the strike zone and some guy whales it.
1 man out. We're tied at 5. Long drive into left field. Bean Blossom is back on the warning track, and he's got it for the second out.
Like he just about did right there. Yeah, I think most pitchers would like to have the manager or the coach say, look, you want me to try to get him out, or you want me to walk him? But if you try to pitch around him, as Malicki was trying to do right there, too often you aim the ball, get it in the hitter's zone, and Kelly Zane hit that a long way.
And Kelly was just walking back to the dugout talking about the same thing that a couple of OSU Cowboys have gone back to the dugout moaning about tonight. I had a good pitch. I just didn't get all of it, don't you think?
Just got under it.
Travis Law on the run, back to the warning track. He'll never get to it. Bounces off the wall, and Arkansas will go back in front as Kramers crosses the plate. And Calhoun with a stand-up double, and Arkansas goes on top 6-5.
Well, Norm DeBrine, we mentioned, will not make many changes in his lineup. He sent Kendall Traynor up to pinch hit for Rod Stillwell earlier with the bases loaded. Didn't work. Bobby Persons went in as a pinch runner, and as a result, Jim Calhoun taken over the job of designated hitter, and right now has the game-winning RBI if this holds up.
Thomas with a swing and a miss. He went after that one. Trying to go downtown.
Calhoun, just a sophomore, doesn't get a lot of playing time in.
Arkansas now with 11 hits in the game. Swung on and missed, strike 2. 2 men out, top half of the ninth inning. 6-5, Arkansas on top.
He was just hitting 200 coming into the ball game tonight.
Norm DeBrine never seems to really get excited, does he?
Now, we saw a manager last year lead a team to the World Series that people kept saying, Tom Kelly never gets excited.
0-2 pitch on the way. Thomas swings and misses. And Malecki is out of the inning, but not before the Arkansas Razorbacks have scored the go-ahead run. So as we head to the bottom of the ninth, it's the Hogs 6-5.
Attention, Oklahoma. Joe Marina Honda has been designated as the exclusive distribution point for the Honda Spring Cleanout. All cars are being sold at special distributor prices. Civics, Preludes, Accords, even the CRX from $79.93. If you are seriously considering buying a new Honda, bring your trade and title to Joe Marina Honda at 91st and Memorial during this spring sale.
Classic Connors. Classic Tennis. It's the BOK Tennis Classic and Thomas Cadillac Lotus Doubles Tournament. Jimmy Connors returns along with last year's champion Brad Gilbert and other top-ranked players at Tulsa's Shadow Mountain Racket Club April 20th through 24th. Call now 252-5561 for tickets while they last. The BOK Tennis Classic and Thomas Cadillac Lotus Doubles Tournament. Don't miss the Classic.
The numbers speak for themselves, but one of the things that you have to be always cognizant of is the fact that Oklahoma State, and they have hit, 44 home runs in their last 14 ball games. They have not hit a tater here tonight, and that is always the great possibility. You can go top to bottom in this order.
Well, and they've got the heart of their lineup coming in. If there's a team that's confident coming up in the bottom of the ninth, trailing one, it'd be that ball club. They've got Bean Blossom, who is an outstanding hitter to lead off the inning, and then you follow it up with Ventura and Ferris and the left-hand hitting Ray Ortiz. DeBrine has no one throwing in the bullpen, which means both Ventura and Ortiz, if a man gets on, will get a shot at Bobby Edwards. He's not a hard thrower, so either of these left-hand hitters going to have the capability of pulling the ball over that right field wall.
Talk about a guy who is due. Bean Blossom 0 for 4 tonight. Flied out in the first, flied out in the third, the fifth, and grounded out in the seventh. One other thing of note, as we mentioned, Arkansas has 11 hits in the ball game. Oklahoma State's only been out hit 3 times this season. But they still got 3 very big outs left on that scoreboard. Bean Blossom also trying to hold on to that 10-game hitting streak, Jim. Even on the count at 1, and strike called.
Well, Edwards really done a good job. I saw him pitch in the College World Series last year. He really does a good job of keeping that breaking ball low and away. Because of his lack of power, he can move the ball around very well for a college pitcher.
Bean Blossom will step out. Bean Blossom, Ventura, and Ferris here in the 9th inning. The Cowboys trying to keep the streak alive. They've won 24 in a row. Swing and a miss, and he got him.
I like the pitch to end the 8th inning with Travis Law. Get ahead of the hitter and throw him that pitch that looks like a strike to the hitter, and then just breaks out of the strike zone. You see the encouragement from the Razorback bench. And throw that slider low and away. Get a look at it right here.
Tell you what, I need to check the numbers here, but I believe it's 9 strikeouts for Arkansas pitching tonight, isn't it?
Well, Sebahar struck out 4 in the time he was in there.
10, okay. 10 strikeouts. Robin Ventura looks to the ball outside. Arkansas, by the way, this year 24-3 when they have out-hit their opponents. Ventura, strike called.
Well, that's Robin's style of hitting. You'll notice he does not offer it many pitches early in the count. That's also Gary Ward's style. He likes to have his hitters take a look at a pitch or two, try to get that pitcher in a 3-1-2-0 situation. And then when you have a pitcher like Edwards, who's not a hard thrower, gives you a little chance to pull something, hit it with authority.
Ball low and outside. 2-1. 6-5, Arkansas leads. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Cowboys unless they come up with 1 run.
See, right now, Ventura, he's getting his mind together, steps in the box there, and I think he's saying to himself, I want something from the middle of the plate in, something I can pull. He's back off the plate quite a ways.
2-1 delivery. Oh, he wanted it. Curved inside, laid off of it, now 3-1. And, of course, this is just what Norton O'Brien does not want. At least make them get on base, but no free passes.
Well, the importance of the 3 and 4 hitter in the Oklahoma State lineup. Sure, you want to pitch carefully to Robin Ventura, but if you lose him, you've got a guy coming up, Monty Ferris, who has 16 home runs, and behind the number 4 hitter, Ortiz, a 400 hitter. Can't really afford to pitch carefully to any of them.
Not just talking about potential of tying, you're talking about potential game winner. Real quick. Full count. Comes home with a strike. Oquist started the ball game for Arkansas, then Sibohar, and now Bobby Edwards. And the big 6'4" youngster delivers the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, line drive to left field, and Eklund is right there. There are 2 men down, and Oklahoma State is down to their final out. Monty Ferris will come to the plate.
Even though that ball was hit well, Ron, Edwards did a good job. He kept the ball away from Ventura, and he had to go the other way with it. That's about the only thing you can do as a pitcher when you go to 3 and 2 on a power hitter like that. If you can keep him from pulling the ball, at least you're giving yourself the best chance of getting him out.
Strike called. Good pitch in the outside corner. Well, I tell you what, Jim, like I said, I'm not a superstitious person. But if the Twilight Zone stat that we put up on the board at the beginning of the ballgame, this comes true.
You're not superstitious, but you're one out away from being superstitious.
How strange is that? 7-1, losing their 8th game last year, and winning 24, and not only losing after winning 24, but on the exact date. I'm sorry, that's just almost too much to buy. Swung on and missed, and right now Bobby Edwards is 1 pitch away. Situation 1-2 the count, 2 men out, bottom of the 9th. Arkansas leading Oklahoma State 6-5, and the Cowboys have won 19 straight.
And I have a feeling this is going to be a slider off the outside corner, somewhere below the knees, if Edwards has command of it.
19 straight here at home. Ground ball to the shortstop. It is bobbled. Beaver picks it up, throws to first, and he's got to be safe. So there's still life. Beaver knocked it down, and they're going to say E6 on the play.
Well, Beaver not the defensive skills of the starting shortstop, Rod Stillwell. And here we get a look at what should have been the inning ending and game-winning out. And then the throw past Randy Bob at first base. And once again, the Razorbacks gave it away defensively the last time to Oklahoma State. Now Brian Gore, this kid's a pitcher and also a good hitter, is going to come up to pinch hit for Mick Ward.
Rally caps are on in the Arkansas dugout. 2 men out, strike called.
Ortiz had started the ball game. Mick Ward went into pinch run for him, but Gore, a good hitter, as well as doing a good job as a relief pitcher for Gary Ward. In fact, in that Texas A&M game, he got a chance to pinch hit.
0-1 pitch, swung on, foul ball down the left side. It's in play, and he makes the catch. D. Alexander went right over the top of the fence, and we thought for a moment it was going to be out of play, but he makes the catch. And you see the celebration by the Arkansas Razorbacks as they have broken a 19-game winning streak here at home and a 24-game streak for Oklahoma State.
Well, and you talked about confidence builder, Ron. Nothing could be more of a confidence builder as you see the jubilation by the Razorbacks. 4-5 in the conference, 25-12 on the year. They've been struggling. They come in here to Stillwater with a big 1-run win, and here's the out that put it away. D. Alexander, nice play, finds the fence, reaches over, puts it away. 6-5 Razorbacks.
our Napa player of the game, and I don't know that anybody should be surprised over this, but the gentleman behind the plate who did such a fine job tonight, 3 base hits, Jimmy Kramer's the Napa player of the ball game tonight. Final score, Arkansas wins it over Oklahoma State 6-5. Let's take a break. We'll be right back in just a moment.